What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again for another episode of Lights, Camera, Keco, Riley Reviews Collects. And we are in our school uniforms. We are here repping Riley Reviews, the sponsor of this live stream, Riley Reviews.
I love it.
Guys, this was, by the way, Keco started this whole train in motion. Keco came on here looking fire in his Riley Reviews t-shirt. And then I said, God damn, Keco, you make that shirt look good, bro. And then I said, wait, I have a Riley Reviews t-shirt that Riley sent me. And then Riley said, well, of course I am Riley Reviews. So I have a t-shirt as well. So of course we ended up with in our school uniforms. And guys, some would say that it's good that I'm not wearing a sleeveless shirt tonight. But you know what? I'm gonna cut the sleeves off this fucker because this thing is done. Riley, you should have had sleeveless, bro. Where's the sleeveless on the merch?
I need some Riley tanks, is what we need.
Yeah, Riley tanks.
Riley tanks.
Riley Reviews tanks, yes. Because the people need those. People need this. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. Friday, March 1st, 5:19 p.m. We're only like maybe 3 minutes late. We had to get our Riley Review shirts because Keco's
wardrobe malfunction.
Exactly. It was a wardrobe malfunction. And we're all in uniform, so it's gonna be pretty exciting. We got a lot of really cool stuff to talk about. No J&D on the docket tonight. So Keco's already excited because
I can't wait.
I have considered Riley bringing up J&D as just a joke again to fuck with Keco, but he's been through. I saw his box video, bro. He's been through a lot. So I don't want to do that to him.
And he's a maintenance worker at OSW, so
he is.
He's been through a lot.
Dude, that got wild, actually.
That was hilarious.
That was
my favorite part of the show, was the whole story with Keco. That was so
Keco just saw, he was working maintenance in the back and then just saw Howard or some shit. That shit
had to clean up his shit, literally.
It was perfect.
Did, bro. Well, hopefully, Keco, you might be cleaning up some shit talking about that Gorr the God Butcher, but we're going to talk about it.
I'm happy
to. Yeah, Riley. We're going to talk about your Toby too, Riley. You're not getting off the hook.
Oh, yeah, we have to. I can't wait to piss Keco off.
It's going to be great. That's why you're here. But guys, thank you so much for joining. We got some fun topics. We're going to talk about the Toby Spider-Man. Sideshow starting to ship those out. Darth Vader DX Sideshow starting to ship those out. Mine officially shipped. It'll be here Wednesday, which I'm really excited about. It took a little while for Sideshow to ship it out, but I'm excited nonetheless. It's happening. And of course, we got a Darth Maul Mando Trooper, which is pretty interesting, which I actually don't remember that from the Ahsoka show. So you guys are going to have to fill me in on that one. And then we also have the Mommy Wanda. So Keco said he can finally rest when I texted him that. He goes, yeah, that's right. That was going to be pretty interesting. But Keco, I'll stop talking now. I got a bolt of energy from wearing the shirt.
Thank you.
So I want to hand it over to you. How are you doing, man? How is the box thing? By the way, your video is doing great, and it was a great video. So people should check that out, by the way.
So it's funny because in that video, I talk about how I don't rep anybody and I'm not a sellout, if you remember that. And here I am wearing Here I am wearing Riley merch. I'm repping the merch for my wife's salon.
Wow.
It is what it is. But when the designs were this fire, it's different. And also, I know Riley's not going to make me look like an ass because he's promised to sell me that Anakin artisan. And I'm like, thank you, buddy, for that.
Well, I didn't confirm that, but yeah. Anyways,
we'll talk after this.
Batman is not mid, Riley. It's goated.
Correct.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great.
But I do want to make sure our studio audience at home is vindicated and settled up, because that's the thing that made the most important, feelings for me. Everyone was so generous last week with the shots for Keco type of thing, but because of a health hazard, we cut them, I think, 3 shots short. So I'm here to make up for that today before we even get started. Okay. Whoa. We went ahead and added 3 shots of absolute vodka with a little bit on top, just for a little bit extra kicks and giggles, because you guys paid for that. So might as well get ourselves nice and loose for this stream. So we have 3 shots of absolute here, mixed with, once again, not a sponsor of the show by any means, but Spindrift sparkling water and real squeezed pineapple. Very, very good. Lovely little mixer. So I'm going to be sipping on this throughout the show. Let's take one big gulp here real quick.
Keep coming full screen. You're getting the full screen.
Damn. No Dwayne Johnson?
Dude, that is a huge shot right there.
Well, it's mixed with this. It's not.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's not straight vodka.
There's like 3.5 shots in here. But yeah, that's essentially what I drank last time, though, completely. If you remember, we did 10 shots live.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, Will still tried to check in with me after the stream, make sure I was okay.
Yeah.
Because I went downhill pretty quickly, and my wife came home. She's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And Will's like, "Hey man, I'll apologize if I need to." And she's like, "I wasn't mad at him, Kevin." I'm like, It's fine, but I need to be responsible. So all that to say is that I wanted to pay for our 3 shots that people did pay for, and here it is. So I'll be sipping on this, and then I may go down and get a little more of this because this is very, very refreshing. If anybody's into sparkling water, I think LaCroix suck, by the way. I think that's an absolute terrible drink, but this is something different. So I do like me some sparkling water right now. So that's the vibe I'm on.
Nice. Well, I do want to just throw out there like Keco reference. So when Keco was like, dude, I am not okay. He was like, can I call you? So I was like, all right, yeah. So, and I told him, I said, if you need me to take the fall for this one, I will. But I do want to make it a public record. This was not my idea for him to drink on the live stream. But I did tell Keco, I said, if Amy's pissed at you, I will take the fall for you. I said, tell me and I will say it was all my idea. She's not going to watch this. So I'll say it was all my idea and I'll take the fall for you. And he was like, nah, you're good, man. But I still apologize to her anyway. I was like, Amy, I'm sorry. It was my idea. Kevin, it was just a helpless
She's like, why are you always trying to make me out to be like the bad guy? I want you to be able to have fun, Kevin. I'm like, all right. But
yeah, because I was like, I don't want to get Kevin in trouble. So
but I don't remember falling asleep. That was the thing. Is somehow we made our pizza. She came home. We made our pizza. We were watching an episode of Love Is Blind, and then I woke up in the morning. That's all I know.
Love Is Blind is hot right now. Dude.
The memes are incredible. If you're not watching Love Is Blind season 6, it is fucking hysterical.
Keco, even when I told my mom about it that you were watching it, she started watching it, and now she loves
incredible.
It. So
have you watched any of it?
I watched season 1 with my ex like 2 years
ago.
you're
like 5 seasons behind. I'm like 5
this
is the GOAT season right here.
Is it goated? Okay.
Have you seen like all the memes about the girl that said she's Megan Fox?
No, you have to
okay, so I'm willing to bet 99% of the people on the stream knows who Megan Fox is, right?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Okay, if you grew up in the early 2000s Transformers era, Megan Fox, Jennifer's Body, peak Megan Fox at that point, but this girl's in the pod, and the whole premise of Love Is Blind, for those who don't know, is that can you find love without ever seeing anybody? You just talk between these walls, and they put you in pods and shit. And so this guy is talking to this girl, and you're not supposed to be talking about like, are you tall? Are you short? Are you big? What race? You're not supposed to do any of that stuff. But somehow they start saying, who would you say you look like if you're a celebrity? So, I get that I'm Megan Fox a lot, and you see the guy pop up, like the thought enters his mind. There it is. This is I'm going to tell kids that this is MGK and Megan Fox. And this girl said that she was Megan Fox. Wow. And so when they finally engage themselves to this girl, they finally meet. And you can see his like countenance fall. He's like, this is not what I signed up for. And then afterwards, when they do the like show, he's like, she lied to me about what she looks like. And the girl that he said no to is an actual Fox, not Megan Fox, but she's beautiful. And he ended up with this girl. And so we still have one more episode to see how it all works out. But this girl is crazy and the memes are incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Well,
Riley gets mad when she's like out. He's like, hey, I left. I'm going home, and I'll be back in 15 minutes after 16. She's like, where you at? Type of thing. She's wild. She's wild.
Dude, see, Kiko's invested, Riley, in this shit. Kiko's fucking invested, dude.
I gotta get into it.
I know, dude. It's pretty wild. This is gonna be like the new MCU at this point, bro. With
better, more entertaining.
Yeah, more entertaining than the MCU at this point. Riley, dude, so good to have you back, man. It's been a little while, and I've been teaching you a lot of lingo over private chat, like what the kids are saying. Riley, we need to ask the chat here. Has anyone heard the term parked before? Like that's parked. Because it is because if it's not a thing, Riley, we're gonna make it a thing, bro. You and I together, we can make this a thing. We made no printer a thing.
I mean, I go to school. Yeah, I'll have to just tell people like, oh, let's make this a thing. Parked, because no one says that. No one says that.
Does anyone say no printer in your circle now? In your social circle?
No, nobody.
Dude, that's some shit.
Quiet. I would get hate if I said that out loud. Come on.
Would you?
It's ridiculous.
No, you wouldn't.
I probably would.
Well, it's got to start
own your lingo. Own it. Make it yours, bro.
Yeah,
that's true. All right, maybe I will.
That's parked, bro. Yeah, exactly.
That's parked.
Riley, well, it's good to have you, bro. How you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing great. I saw Toby on the thumbnail, so I had to be here. Can't wait for that.
I know
Keco's gonna shake his head. I can't wait to talk about that. But yeah, I'm excited for the show. It's been a little bit, and I'm loving the attire on today. We got a whole team formed, so let's get it going, man. I'm excited.
Let's go. See, Keco, did you see Riley's shirtless video, dude? That's a ladies' man right there.
Wait, what? There's a shirtless video of Riley out there?
Yeah, dude. Well, OnlyFans, yes, but it was also on the 1-6 Wrestling. On 1-6 Wrestling, Riley did a shirt. He took his shirt off on the stream, and then it was pretty dope.
Like an actual picture?
No, like a video. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
For free.
Dude, Riley's worked hard, man. He's killing it.
I had to show it off, and I had to kick Carlos's ass, even though he was already done in that.
Well, that's not hard, but
yeah, that's true. Takes like 2 seconds. He's out.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, though, Todd drop kicked me out of the fucking ring, so I didn't last very long.
You can't talk either.
Yeah, But Riley, we're gonna talk about that Toby, bro, because I saw you make a post on different groups looking for that Toby, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
I'm a fake collector, man. I don't even have
we're starting that shit already.
This is ridiculous.
Riley's a COVID collector. You know that.
There we go.
Dude.
Yeah,
At this point, might as well own it, Riley. Just be yeah. At this point. So anyway, so let's move on to our first topic of the evening, guys. Thank you so much for the chats already. You guys are amazing, and there's a lot of great people in the chat here tonight. So we're gonna waste no time. And honestly, there's so much news, guys, that we could talk about, which is good because sometimes week to week we have to come up with so many big picture topics because there's just not a lot of shit to talk about. But this week we do have some stuff to talk about. We're going to get to some of the bigger stuff, but Keco and I have to have this one out because this is Hot Toys Gorr the God Butcher. Okay. And for those who remember, Keco's ready.
He's ready.
Keco, I had several people messaging me, by the way, and they were like, there's no way Keco's going to like this and buy this. I was like, well, you're going to be surprised because, and I don't want to speak for Keco, Riley.
Your item is shipped. That's all I care about.
Your item is shipped. Keco already got the email. So I've been on record for this one. I don't want to give too much of my opinion yet because I want to let Keco and Riley weigh in on this one. But I was on record way back saying I just didn't love the jointed arms and just various things with this figure. And the figure actually released just kind of out of nowhere. Keco was the one who kind of broke the news, really, because Keco shared with me, he sent me his email, Gorr the God Butcher shipping from Sideshow in the next couple days or whatever. And Hot Toys hadn't even posted anything yet. So by that point, we knew this shit's about to drop like tomorrow, right? So at that point, Gorr the God Butcher dropped. Hot Toys has put out their photos. Sideshow has put out their video. There's even a couple reviews out there on YouTube, early reviews. So this thing is making its rounds out there in the 1/6 circles. That said, we got to ask the question, guys. Is Gorr the God Butcher, is it good enough? And does anyone even give a fuck? Because this is Gorr the God Butcher from Thor Love and Thunder, which was a film that I think a lot of people were anticipating, but not a lot of people ended up loving, at least in our circles, right? So I really like this character. I was going to buy this character, but I wasn't thrilled with how it came out. But I want to let Keco go first. Keco, I know you got something to get off your chest here. And I need to discuss this one because you like this Gorr the God Butcher. Can you please give us your thoughts and analysis here? Because I really want to hear it.
I will. And I think this is going to definitely need to be a volley type conversation, Will, because off the spoiler alerts, some of the things that you've sent me back and forth, I know some of the things you don't like about this. So I can't just rebuttal them without hearing them or letting them, the studio audience, of course, be able to speak to that. So I'm going to give you my thoughts about it, but I'm not going to get in any of the, oh, this is why it's awesome, and Will, you're stupid, until you say it. Then I have my rebuttals, because I've been thinking about this literally ever since you've been sending me things. Okay. And to be fair, everyone, homie sent me a picture and said shameful. I think it was.
You were right on that one. I did fuck that one up. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, you literally found the worst picture possible and saying that this is an accurate representation of this figure. So if I may, let's get into this. I'm just going to start off with the simple aesthetic of a unique character in all white. Will, you know how my display is set up. My Marvel stuff's right over there. I'm looking at my Marvel stuff right now. And I tell you, even out of the corner of my eye, all the white figures pop completely off the shelf. Without even looking, I can tell you that Moon Knight is popping. Kingpin is popping. White Widow, Yelena, Captain Falcon, or Sam Captain, whatever his name is. Captain Falcon, F. Sam.
One shot deep.
Sam Captain.
And whatever his name is. The white figures are cool. And I'm excited to be able to put Gorr sitting right next to my Hela and Loki and Thor. I think it's going to look cool. So the aesthetics of a white figure is really, really neat. Now let's talk about the likeness. Now you were showing some pretty crappy pictures to me, but would you pull up that one of BG Toy Arts where it's got like the warm glow on the side of his face? One of the coolest pictures I've ever seen.
This?
And no, keep going. It's like the warm picture. It's like he's like got like a light behind him. Okay. It's not any of that. It's not any of that world. It's where the.
I mean, these are all pretty fucking dope, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Oh, come on. Where's it at?
Honestly, though, all these.
Just type in Alex Brooks and bring his thing up.
Okay, on Instagram?
Yeah, Alex Brooks, BG Toy Art.
Cool.
Because the one thing that about this is really, really good is the Christian Bale head sculpt. And for one, it's not a stoic look. It is something that is different. So you can see the teeth, you can see the blood or goo dripping down his face, which is really cool. The scars, the detailing, the paint apps are incredible. There it is. That is a menacing, menacing shot. And the best part about this, to my knowledge, this is a Purrs figure. You can move the eyes, correct?
Yes, correct.
And it is incredible to what you can do with something like the Kubrick stairs, just kind of what he's doing right there. So I'm really excited about that. Is this the comic representation and the definitive version of Gorr? No, of course not, because we have Ebony Maw for that, because that's literally what Gorr is supposed to look like. But this is the Taika-ized version of Gorr. And I think they did the best they could with making it a unique human form, because you have Bale acting. And whether we like the video or the movie or not, Bale was incredible in the film. He was awesome. And I don't think that you should shame this figure because of some of the design choices that they made, and I'll leave it at that. But I think it is a stunning piece that will pop off the shelf. It is a figure you will never get again. It is artistically done, and there are some highlights to things that you can say, wow, I think this is really cool. So I have rebuttals to everything that you're going to say, but that is my first initial out of box first experience.
Sure. Yeah, I am with you, Keco. I want to let Riley jump in here, but I am with you on some of that for sure. I mean, honestly, I thought Christian Bale was fucking great in the movie. He was, bro. He's the best part of the movie. I really liked Gorr as a character, and this was one that I said all along that I was actually looking forward to Hot Toys was announcing, because I wanted to buy this. This was a figure that I did want to have in my collection. And now after having Moon Knight, you are right. The figures with the white costumes, they do pop on the shelf. 100%, bro. They just do. They stand out, because a lot of the Marvel costumes are not like that. They're like red or blue or purple or whatever the case is. They're not just a flat white like that. So a white costume and outfit does stand out like that. But Riley, I want to let you jump in before I jump in, and Keco and I have this discussion, because I want to get your thoughts on Gorr the God Butcher here and what your general, perceptions are for this release. I mean, it looks pretty close to the prototype to me, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'd first say. Judging from the prototype to final, I think this can't turn out incredible. Like, we're usually used to that, like, oh, there might be something out, maybe more than like a 15%, and then it's a big issue. But right here, you don't really see any problem. And even with all of the latest releases, I'm pretty sure we'll talk about it, that they've been doing a really great job, Hot Toys, honestly, on most of their figure releases. But this one right here, like I said, judging from the prototype, it was the best, but like you guys are going to get into, is the most controversial thing is the joints, the visible joints. That's the biggest thing, where most people who see this are like, oh my God, it's absolutely incredible, but I can't get past the joints. I just can't do it. So I'm not going to buy this. And that's just how it is to some collectors. There's others out there though, who don't mind the joints. They actually like it in case they don't want to face, like we talked about, Ahsoka, where you have a seamless arm and they snap or they break. You have breakages, which can be a big issue. But for me, I'm on the other end. I do prefer seamless, but at the end of the day, this is one where you can somewhat hide the joints, because he has that cloak. So I feel like there's some poses and instances where you can kind of cover his arm, which I don't think you're going to be able to see the seam. I think it reminds me of Electro, because I love Electro. That's like one of my favorite, maybe the favorite in the No Way Home line. And he has single jointed visible joints, but you can kind of do certain poses where you can block that from being visible, and it works perfectly for me. So I think people who love the character enough and the film enough, if you don't mind the joints, go for it, honestly. But I know there are people who are like, you know what, it has those joints, I can't do it, and it's understandable, honestly. But I think it is more than good enough, judging from what we had in the proto, like I said, because the joints were always there. It didn't change or anything. So I think from proto to final, this turned out to be an excellent release. It's really well done.
Yeah, well, Riley, you surprised me there, bro. I didn't think that you would be on Keco's side here, but I don't know.
I'm on both.
You're somewhere in the middle, yeah. So here's my thoughts on it.
Don't let him sway you, Riley. Come on now.
I'll stay with you.
Here's what I would say, Keco. I would say, looking at this figure, if you remove the visible joints, I think you have legitimately a figure of the year contender here. Like, I think you have such a good head sculpt and such a cool outfit with such a cool aesthetic on the shelf. Whether or not you give a shit about this character that's up to the collector. Some collectors are really big on buying a character that's important to them. That's how I tend to be. Some collectors will just say, man, that looks cool as fuck, I'm going to buy it, right? And I think if you're just looking at the aesthetics of this figure, it looks phenomenal. But you're talking about something to me that is figure breaking. And the counter I want to make to this is this point. So the seamless thing, yes, this would have been nice if Gorr could do that. However, I think Hot Toys is in a very difficult position because of Gorr's character design. He has scars everywhere. That would have been very, very difficult to do on a seamless body. Almost impossible, if not impossible, right? I think that would have been they did a scar on Bane on his back, but that's like one little scar. Gorr has them everywhere and going every which direction, and that just would have been difficult. But the counter I want to bring up is this idea. And I found an old review from this a while back, right? This is the only time that Hot Toys has really done this, right? They did this with Thor from Infinity War, but he had swappable seamless arms. Then he had an armored arm and so forth. But to me, this is the best figure company on the planet in Hot Toys for 1/6 scale, right? The fact that they couldn't even be bothered to put a pair of swappable, non-articulated plastic arms on Gorr the God Butcher, like that you could literally just plug into the shoulder like you did with this Thanos, and make it so you have a pair of articulated arms for the people who want to pose and a pair of non-articulated arms that look realistic and make the figure look like a Hot Toys figure for people who want something a little more lifelike. That would have cost them almost nothing to do. These are plastic arms that wouldn't have been very expensive to do. I think this is solely the reason they solely didn't do it is because they haven't done this since Thanos, to be clear. But it's because it's Gorr. That's why. Because they said Gorr the God Butcher is not a high in demand figure. There's probably not a huge return on investment here for us. But to me, it just looks, those arms look like shit. Maybe you can pose them away. Sure. You know, Keco, I have that Scorpion I bought, right? With you in Tennessee. The Pop Collectibles, the Storm Collectibles Scorpion, right? So I have that and I have Sub-Zero and I've posed them to kind of hide the joints a little bit. Like with this Gorr, this is such a good figure that to me is ruined by visible joints. And I know some people in the comments will disagree on this one, but it's just, to me, this is such an amazing looking head sculpt, an amazing outfit, and just a really fucking cool figure that is completely destroyed by laziness. Because if they could have just included a swappable set of arms that are non-articulated to make the figure look alive like every other Hot Toys does, then I think it would have been a game changer. Remember when Peacemaker was first announced and they announced that shitty body with the really bad jointed arms and everyone freaked out because not saying Peacemaker is fucking Iron Man, but he's important, right? And then when they changed it, now people are saying like that Peacemaker is contender. He was a really good figure of the year maybe, right? I think this Gorr could have been in that conversation because of how cool the rest of this figure is. It is amazing. But they just like half-assed the shit out of the arms. And the prototype, look, it's consistent. I agree. I was hoping they would change it, but I knew probably they wouldn't. But that's my problem with it, Keco. I think it's absolutely figure breaking and it's beneath Hot Toys. That's what I feel because I don't think this would have been an expensive thing to do to give a swappable pair of arms. Third-party companies are doing it. Game Toys is doing it. I mean, it's not, Hot Toys is very much capable. And this to me was a very lazy move. And I felt like even if you give a swappable, non-articulated set of something in a cool pose, you can move the arm up and down. You just can't pose. You can't articulate it, right? But you could have given some, maybe one of the hands is holding the sword and you just plug it into the arm. It's all sculpted in there. Fine. Then you have no visible joints. The figure looks amazing. Like, would that have really been that difficult? Like that's my point. Like why are Hot Toys not doing those type of things? Like these are the type of criticisms that they get from time to time for being the best. Sure. But I'm going to let Keco go on this one. Yeah, I want to shut up now, but that's my main problem with it, Keco. The visible joints, it makes it look like a toy. I get the company's called Hot Toys, but that's not their prerogative really. But it's not their main motivator. They want to make things as realistic and lifelike as possible. That's what they're known for. They're not known for making toys really. Like they're known for making lifelike collectible action figures. So, and this Gorr, the rest of it is like a 10, but the arms are like a 0. So it just fucks everything up for me. But Keco, that's my main problem with it.
Do you play chess, Will?
No, I should though. I feel like I should.
There's a moment when you play chess when your opponent makes a mistake and you see it made and you know exactly the move you need to make. You made that move. And I was so excited to see you make that move because I was like, that is exactly the counterpoint that I'm going to talk to. I was like, thank you for that.
Dude, well, you know me, so you know.
I know. But it's funny to me that, and Will, you know I love you. It's funny to me that you're mad that a figure is a figure. And I know that you say that, okay, Hot Toys is known for their realism,
yeah,
whatever it may be. But going back to, and I'm so glad they're talking about the move. I'm so glad that you showed the Thanos because when you are thinking about Thanos, you know, they gave you the arm, you know, just like this. And that is the pose that is synonymous with Thanos. And I was going to ask you, Will, what is the synonymous pose with Gorr? There is none.
I would say you could have him pointing, like you could have him pointing or something, and you could have one of his, like when he's pointing at Thor and have his sword in his other hand, or just maybe like something simple, like put his hands down by his sides. So
but here's the thing that I'm trying to say is that the Infinity War pose with the gauntlet is so iconic that it makes sense to put that on there, because you're like, wow, I want to be able to get that pose because it's so iconic. The point's not a bad idea, but because there are so many people with so many opinions, the second you end up putting a piece in there that's not the right pose, then you're going to have people on there saying, anybody willing to 3D print this? Hot Toy sucks ass, blah, 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 blah. You'll never make people happy. And as this is a high-end action figure, make it an action figure to where you can pose it and do things. Because you did hit on one point I was going to make, is that it's impossible to seamless arm something with the texture and the painting that they have on his, with the scars. You couldn't do it. There's no way to do it.
Makes sense.
So I felt like you were just arguing your own point, saying, okay, well, here's all the reasons they can't do it. And it makes sense. I just wish they would have done X, Y, Z. So you used a lot of the points I was going to use, for one. But the thing about the swappable arms is, which ones are you going to pick and how many are you going to put in there? Because you can't just have a carnage tray of arms, because that's ridiculous to have 15 different arms. Or, you know, this isn't, if that's the case, you know, just like the Revan statue, there's 15 different arms for that. Get a statue then, if that's what we want. If you want a hyper detailed, incredible looking figure, then get a statue. But this is an articulated action figure, to where I'm like, okay, because as you said, Will, this could be a figure of the year if not for the arms, because it's so good. I can look past these arms. I can move these things in a way. And I love, once again, not sitting there, you know, riding PG Toy Art's dick or anything like that, but the choices that he made for his photos did such as in a way that really hid the joints and amplified the things that mattered on the figure, the head sculpt. And that, look at that. Everything is done to a calculated, in my opinion, way to hide them and show realism. And that's, for one, what makes him an incredible artist. But for sure, I just don't think you could have a tray of arms for a figure like this. It just doesn't make sense. And I am more than happy to have this incredible piece to put in my collection. And Will, once again, when you stop by next time, the Blue Bale Man, you'll be like, damn, I'm gonna have to hit that ISO because I really need one.
Yep, dude, 100%, bro. 100%. Or like you said, Keco, maybe I'll jump in and I'll find a 3D printing artist out there that will print me a set of Gorr swappable arms.
And I'm sure there may be. And I mean, I'm sure there are, but that is not the end for me, because I want to be able to. I want to take photos. You know, I do that. That's one of the things I like to do. I don't know where you and I were talking, but the Wanda stuff about the Multiverse Madness, the Wanda.
Yeah.
I said, well, I move my Wandas around a lot because I play with mine, and, you know, I do photos. And so I don't really leave them in poses worrying about damage, because I move them so much. And so that's kind of the way I feel about this, is that I'll take photos with this. I'll move it around, so it won't stay static for me. So for me, I want it to be like this. So I'm happy about that.
That makes sense. Yeah. Like if articulation is really important to you, I definitely do understand that. But to me, my point is, how difficult would that have truly been? I'm not talking about a whole tray of arms.
Well, you hit it though. You hit it on the ROI, is that there's probably not demand enough to command that type of, you know, research to put those arms. But I will do a 180 and say, if they gave you the pointing finger, that would have been cool. I will admit that would have been a good one.
But I do think, Keco, I think we're onto something about the ROI part of it. But to me, it also, like, maybe thinking about the bigger picture of it, does it diminish the Hot Toys brand? Because you're looking at this and you're like, okay, this looks like a toy, right? And like Hot Toys is not known for that.
But the average person looks at this and there's no way they're saying that looks like a Hasbro Plus thing.
No way. But I mean, like, but you also have to ask the question, Riley. I wanted to jump in before we move on, but you know, it's like, where do we draw the line? Like, so are we going to make the same case? Like, if Bane had come out with a 2.0 and they said, oh, he's doing it again, would everyone have been okay with that? I mean, like, you know,
or if the right proportions, maybe.
I wouldn't have been if Hot Toys didn't come out and do that.
What was wrong about Bane? I don't think that's a fair comparison.
Or for example, the Peacemaker, right? When everyone flipped out, because that one was jointed. So I mean,
that was a pitch to actually sell some. Otherwise, no one was going to buy any of them.
It could have been, but I think it also might just be simply a case, Keco, of the popularity of the character. I mean, it's just, I think it might just literally come down to that. I mean, I think if Gorr were on Bane's level, I think you probably would have gotten something. but I don't think most people really reacted to this film the way they thought. And I don't like, you know how Hot Toys are. They don't do shit unless they get a loud enough volume of complaints. You know, when everyone complained about Doc Ock's head sculpt, they changed it. When everyone complained about Endgame's head sculpt, they changed it. When everyone complained about fucking Cyborg not being made, they released him. Right. So it's that they don't do anything until they get a large enough volume. But Riley, where do you fall on the not the tray of jointed arms, but maybe a couple non-articulated arms? Do you think that would be a hard thing to do?
I mean, I think it would have been cool, but I'm kind of just like indifferent, honestly, because I feel like it goes with all Hot Toys. I mean, like we talked about, of course, it's going to be brought up the Toby. Like that's another thing where I had issues with it. I thought the mask wasn't accurate from the jump, but at the end of the day, I shouldn't expect them to change it. I wish that they could, and I hope that they would, because it's obviously an expensive piece, but it's just something where I kind of just have to accept what it is. But sometimes, like you said, speaking out matters, though. Voicing your opinions matters, because changes do happen, and sometimes with certain Hot Toys. But for the most part, I feel like if there isn't enough uproar and enough like critiques over it, or the character is popular enough, like Gorr, like he's not really a popular enough character, I think Hot Toys are just gonna take those like they'll take the L on it, or they'll move on with it and just release it and move on. I feel like unless it's like a super, like I said, like Iron Man, like the Tony Stank situation, that was one where like they felt like it was like a necessity to change it. In other instances like this, or maybe the Toby, to some people, I think it's a necessity to change it to Toby, but to other people, it's just like, it is what it is. It still looks fine. Let's just move on. And I think Hot Toys are more so saying that. So at the end of the day, I'm just slowly realizing that Hot Toys are, for the most part, aren't going to change what they have as the prototype, unless like it's like catastrophically like talked about overall.
Yeah. Well, guys, very productive discussion. I think that was great. I think Keco and I had very civil discourse there. That was great. I think we found some common ground. So guys, thank you in the chat for weighing in as much as you have on that one. We did get a super chat from Carlos, a 199. Why would you guys want to be Virgin Boy? Apparently, Riley, I guess he's talking about
me. Yep.
Keiko's married, so
he's been talking smack in the chat as
dude,
always.
You already beat his ass in 1-6 wrestling, so who gives a fuck? So.
And he's a pan collector, so let's just move on.
It's true. He is a fan collector. He does collect the pans. Let's talk about Mommy Wanda, because we got to talk about Scarlet Witch. This one's for Keco, because this was actually a release that just popped up a few days ago. I think it was on Monday, and this was one that honestly I wasn't expecting to see like right away. I knew we would see it sometime soon. It got delayed. We weren't sure when it was going to end up dropping, but it has. And damn, does it look good. This figure came out so good. I mean, the WandaVision one came out really good as well. But I think all along, Keco, I think we knew, to me at least, this was the Wanda to have between those two. Between those two, I always felt the Multiverse of Madness had a slightly better head sculpt. I felt the outfit was a little bit cooler. It covers all the joints because it's a fully tailored outfit. And this was something that and also the crown, I just like a little bit more. I like the hair a little bit more. I think overall, this is just a superior figure. It doesn't have a cape, but the rest of it, pretty dope. However, we do have an Avengers Endgame version now. A lot of people got the artisan version. Even if you didn't, there's the sculpted version out there. And that base is really cool and a really cool figure. So Keco, now that Mom Wanda is out there, do collectors still wait for Endgame, or do they grab this Wanda? Because, I mean, this one's sitting right in front of us, staring us in the face, and it looks pretty good. What do you think?
To me, this is, do I want an Anakin, or do I want a Darth Vader, or do I want both? Because they're the same character, just different iterations. So for me, I do know there's some people out there like one is done for me. You know, I get that. That's fine. I may not be the best person to be asking about this as a Wanda simp. We all know that. But I'm also not the crazy Wanda simps out there, because you also sent me something else today that absolutely disgusted me.
That too.
yeah, I sent it to Riley too.
We'll leave that off the board. But this may, I believe there's money to be made, so it probably is not. This may be the final appearance we ever see of the Scarlet Witch, because as you know, if you saw Multiverse of Madness, she dies in Wondagore, and finally comes to the conclusion that, hey, I've lost vision, I've lost myself, I've lost my kids. It's better. I'm too dangerous to the universe. I'm out. Peace. And you see the little red puff gone. And that may be it. So this may be the last time we ever see this iteration of the Scarlet Witch. And this is the Scarlet Witch. You know, she finally, it's funny because like even like in Civil War and all that stuff, she was never called the Scarlet Witch until WandaVision, but all the marketing always called her the Scarlet Witch and all that stuff. But she was never called the Scarlet Witch. She was Wanda in everything. And in WandaVision, she says, "You're the Scarlet Witch," you know, when she's in the hex and all that, blah, blah, blah. But this is her in her peak form, looking for her kids, fucking up the multiverse. And one of my favorite lines is, well, there's several lines from that movie that I love, but one of my favorites, she says, I'm not a monster, I'm a mother." And I think that hit me so hard because it shows the realism and the humanity of this tragic character. And in my opinion, and maybe I'm just ranting here, but in my opinion, I feel like she's so much like Anakin. She's an overpowered character that got the raw end of the deal, lost everything, and is seeking vengeance. That's Anakin, you know? And so she became Darth Vader here and just starts fucking things up because she's hurt, she's mad, and she's trying to right the universe. So going back to the character, this figure is incredible. Incredible, because as you said, it ticks all the boxes and it gives you multiple hair. You can have the blown back look or you can have the laid down look, whatever you prefer. But I do think it is a disservice if you get the standard version without the deluxe. The deluxe is the one to have. From all the different chaos magic to the really cool altars of candles, it's sweet, man. It is so cool. And I think it looks so fucking good. Now, your question, do you wait for the end game? It's two different characters. For me, at least. Yeah, it's cool to get the artisan hair potentially. It's cool to have an upgraded version of the Civil War Wanda, you know, in her red coat. But these are two totally different characters, if you ask me. So if you like the full power of the Scarlet Witch, you have to have this, because this is something that if you're building out your display, you could put this with Magneto, with Quicksilver. I mean, this is a Nexus mutant right here. This is incredible. This is so cool. I'm so excited to see like how all the mutants get tied into this. But Wanda is a Nexus being. You know, she's an incredible character, you know, the daughter of Magneto and all that. So I'm excited to see where they potentially go with it. But for me, man, absolutely, this is I can rest and watch the sun rise on the happy universe.
Dude, but look at that, even in a flight. I would be careful with this waist clamp, though, around that material. I haven't seen the figure in hand yet, but even this one has been tempting for me, Keco. I have the Artisan Wanda fully paid off on pre-order with Sideshow, and even this figure, I'm like, dude, I really want a Wanda, and I'm like, do I want to just get this one and then maybe sell it when Artisan drops, or maybe if Artisan ends up sucking, whatever, I can cancel it and keep this one.
If you get this figure, Will, you won't get rid of it, because as I said, it's two different characters.
Yeah, it could be, but I probably only need one Wanda, though. I'm not as crazy about her as you, but I do love Wanda. I mean, you know, Loki's that way for me. This Wanda's like that for you, right? So yeah, it's pretty dope. But yeah, I think Keco, we both have the Artisan Wanda on PO, right? I think we got it. Yeah, that first day. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I remember going live.
I have the plastic one too, just in case it's an absolute travesty.
Yeah, I don't think it will be, but you know, because you know how to style hair now, you know, and of course you got the Crybaby Salon. And you know you'll be ready. Brooke said she would do it. She said it on a live stream, so she'll handle it. But Riley, so are you getting the Artisan Mommy Wanda from Endgame, or are you picking up the multiverse? Are you passing? Are you getting all Spider-Man? What's your deal nowadays?
Unfortunately, yes, I'm not a Wanda stan. I won't be getting. I don't think any Wanda in my collection, which I know Kiko's crying on the inside. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, but I will say this Wanda is an absolutely incredible release. I think. Like I've been saying, from proto to final, again, I feel like it maybe like barely declined, but what I'm seeing here is just reminding me of the prototype. I don't see something where I'm like, oh, like something looks different. Like it literally looks like the prototype. And I'm so happy for Keco and everyone else who's collecting Wandas. It hurts for me, honestly, because I love the Tobey figure so much and it didn't turn out as perfect, but you know, it is what it is, man. You just got to move on with it. And this is an amazing piece. It really does look great. The whole, should you wait for the Endgame one? I don't know, honestly. I feel like Keco was saying, it's two different iterations of a character. This is kind of like that more evil, sinister version of Wanda, and then Endgame was a different moment, a different time. But, I mean, I would get both if you liked Wanda enough. I really do think that the costume's different enough. I mean, you got the rooted versus the sculpted, and yeah, it would just be a badass display. But if you had to go with one, honestly, I don't think I can give you the answer. It's really just personal preference, but this one is no slouch. This is an absolutely amazing release. It comes with a lot of great things, and
even the rotten fingers, those are cool.
That's insane. Like there's just so many cool, definitely poses you can do with this one. This is one where people can do some good shit, and I can't wait for Keco and everyone else to get it in hand. This is a dope piece. Really
This is dope, Riley. And for risk of sounding like a broken record and like I'm being hyperbolic here, we have a figure of the year candidate because it's only February. It's March, really. It's basically February. But, we have this figure. I mean, this is a really good head sculpt.
I don't see flaws. So, yeah, I mean, it could be up there to one of the best.
So would you say that Hot Toys 8, no crumbs?
Oh, my God.
Keco, have you ever heard that? Marco taught me that. But.
No, but I get it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Gorr is parked. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, Gorr is parked, bro. See, Riley gets it.
I gotta stop.
Yeah, see, bro. So I think this Scarlet Witch looks absolutely amazing. And Keco, I might be tempted by this one. I might be tempted, bro, because like I said, I got the Artisan, but I guess I could get this one for now, and then I could do a comparison when the Artisan drops in the review and stuff, and compare this one. And so, because I mean, honestly, this amazing Scarlet Witch is staring us all in the face right now, and she's pretty great. I mean, like you guys said, the head sculpt, I don't know if it declined in quality at all based on the photos and the videos. I mean, it looks, this is everything you could hope for, I think.
I mean, the whole Multiverse of Madness line, honestly, I think all of them have been amazing. You got the Dead Strange, that was really good. Regular Doctor Strange.
Line,
regular Doctor Strange is the best Doctor Strange. Yeah.
I have that one. It's amazing. So
yeah, it's really good. I will say though that what's it called? With the Multiverse of Madness, it's not my favorite film. I really don't love the film. I loved Wanda in it, but the rest of the film, not my favorite.
The problem is they tried to market it as a Doctor Strange sequel when it shouldn't have been. And I think that if it was literally WandaVision Part 2, I think it would have been better received if they focused on that, because that's the way the story ended. But they're like, hi, I'm Doctor Strange, and I open up incursions and do shit.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But I'm here for Wanda.
Yeah. X-Men Supreme, thanks so much, bro. He said, Gorr is parked, Wanda is driving. Love that, bro.
Wow,
let's go. X-Men Supreme, love it, bro. All right, guys, so let's address a super chat we had real quick. I think we had 2. So Carlos dropped one. He said, Baldy, you should make a poll with 3 topics, and we can vote on the topic we want you to talk about. I mean, guys, if you want to see that, let me know, and I'll make a poll, and you guys can vote in the poll. If Carlos is right, drop a comment in the chat down below, and of course, click the like button and subscribe, because don't just do that hit and run stuff. Make sure you click the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Of course, to all 3 of these guys: Keco Collects, Riley Reviews, and of course this channel. Keco just dropped a fire video, and whenever Riley feels like dropping a video, it's always fire. So
thank you, bro.
Absolutely. No printer. So thanks so much, Carlos, bro. Appreciate you for that one, guys. We can make a poll. Let me know a comment in the chat if you want to see that. Josh, my boy Josh, good to see you, bro. Josh is amazing, guys. Check out my Quick Cultures channel. He's awesome. Will is wrong. Doctor Strange Mom is a top tier film. Hey, the Raimi stands are out there. I'm just not one of them, unfortunately. But it's it's a really good movie for those type of viewers. So
apparently he may direct Secret Wars. There are talks about that.
No, dude. No. Like he can't. I mean,
if he does, that means Toby and Wanda are coming back. So
that would be great. But Spider-Man 3, bro. No.
Like studio interference on that.
Yeah. Nick's gonna be like, Nick's typing so fast right now.
3 is a hidden gem. It's a great film.
Is it, Riley?
Come on.
Is it, bro? But people always point back to my love for the sequels. They're like, Will has no credibility, so it's fine. So guys, let's talk about our next piece of information here. And this is really, I think, maybe one of the stars of the show here. We have figure of the year candidate because have the DX Darth Vader. Keco, I know you saw the poll that I ran.
We talked about this last week. Why are we talking about it again?
It's different though. This is a different conversation because this is the Kenobi DX Darth Vader, because we didn't talk about some of the specifics. So I'm going to share my boy Collector Joey's video, at least real quick. He posted about how the control panel works. This was not something, at least, that I was aware of prior to the release of the figure. I knew maybe that there was going to be some sort of, obviously, light up function in the belt and in the chest, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be USB or USB-C or batteries. Well, it is, in fact, a control panel, as you can see here, with Hot Toys logo on the back. You plug it right on the back of the belt. You plug all the little things in. You can plug the lightsaber and hide all the wires under the cape. And this is a step in the right direction, guys. So I'm pretty excited about this, but I want to bring this to the people and say, are we satisfied with this type of feature? Because this is not something we've really seen too much of from Hot Toys. It's moving in that direction. USB lightsabers, yes, we're starting to get there. But we've mostly dealt with the batteries. The batteries have been asked. We all know it. They don't last very long. They're a pain in the ass to put in there. This seems like a nice progression towards where things should ultimately go in the future. So, Keco, I got to ask you, bro. I know you love this Vader. He's a grail to you. He's the definitive Vader.
That's
But
yeah.
but Keco, what do you think? Are we satisfied with the USB-C light up features? Because I think this is a step in the right direction. What do you think, though?
I'll concede it's a step in the right direction. But like it's kind of it's like when the first iPhone came out, you're like, "Oh, look how revolutionary this is." And now we look back on it like, "What the fuck?" This is not conducive to this does not seem like futuristic to me at all. It's so clunky. And this isn't new. I mean, they have this on the Grand Inquisitor, they have this on Riva. I mean, this is all I've seen this before, and it's in the box for me because I'm like, I'm not going to use this mainly because it's a hassle. Now, Vader's different because there's so many different light ups. That's a little bit different, and I may consider it. But here's my thing, and Will, forgive me if talk to me if this is different. But for me, in my setup, I would have to break my setup down to be able to plug this in to be able to get an access to run through my cases to be able to turn this on. Would you have to do the same for yours? Like essentially break down your case, rewire it so that you can get this powered because there's no place to plug this in essentially. So it's a wasted opportunity for me. That's my problem. Am I satisfied? Cool. Yeah, that's great. But it seems like a hassle for one. I think it's very, very clunky. And I don't know how to plug the thing in. That's the issue when it comes to some of these displays.
Yeah. Well, so Keco, it is an interesting thing, and I've kind of thought about this. Mine, like I said, is shipped and it'll be here Wednesday. There are like these little battery packs you can get that have power. You put like AAA batteries in them, and you can plug USB and USB-C into them. I've done that with my Infinity Gauntlet, and it lights it up. So I might try something like that and see if it works. But to your first question, like with the Modu space, otherwise I'd have to run it, Riley knows, have to run it outside the little back of the hole in the Modu space, like in the very back. You'd have to run a long cable down the wall or something to your outlet. And then so it would be a pain in the ass.
It's not intuitive though by any means.
No, it would be a pain in the ass. So I'm thinking a little battery pack, if I can get that to work, might be sufficient.
Send me a link on that. I consider that as because I would love to use that. I mean, AAA batteries is a lot better than those little bullshit cells or whatever those things are.
Yeah.
And then, but damn, because I love my displays. You love your displays. Riley loves his. But knowing that I can't really access a power supply because of this, and I don't know that's my only frustration with like some of these. And I understand some people love the light up features, and it's cool. Vader looks good. I mean, and the people that have the CFL sabers, you know, I think those look incredible. But depending on how your display is, it's very hard to hide wires, wire a figure up, then hide it discreetly in your display without it looking very, very messy. Well, I work remote, you know, naturally I work from home and we have home offices. A lot of people have home offices, desks. Even like if you work in an office somewhere or whatever it may be, cable management is an art and I'm not good at it. And when it comes to collecting, I'm not good at it either. So that's one thing that is scary to me.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, you can barely see the wires and stuff here. You know, it's in there, but nothing too crazy. So, you know, but Riley, what do you think here, guys? I see the chat. I'm going to post this poll here in a sec, but I want to let Riley jump in here. Riley, you recognize this Vader for what it is, bro. It's the ultimate grip.
Definitely.
So,
it's the ultimate Vader. I mean, it's the best
exactly.
Vader.
It is. I mean, definitive. But what do you think, Riley? Are we satisfied with the USB-C here? I mean, at least are they moving in the right direction? What are your thoughts?
I think, yeah, it's definitely moving in the right direction, but I sort of agree with Keco. I think it still needs to be tweaked and fixed. I mean, not only with this, but just the light ups in general. I feel like that's super important to me, for instance, because a lot of my display caters towards that, like light ups and like kind of catchy, vibrant colors. I like having that. That's why I have the CCFL sabers, which I know are a little controversial because you have the heating and stuff and you have to manage that, but having it on the shelf with that lineup is absolutely amazing. And I think that Hot Toys really should put more care and effort into that. And also just like USB in general, because for one thing, I heard the cables on the Hot Toys ones they're not that long. They're not that lengthy. They're a little bulky. Like I know the CCFL ones
they're not great, man. Just for my Riva and Inquisitor ones, those are the only ones I have. They're not great.
Right. That's what I've heard. And that they're pretty bulky. Like they need to make them skinnier in my eyes. I think they can definitely work on it. I'm making it better. And yeah, I think this is better because it's obviously Vader. Like you said, it's like it's more hidden with his cape and everything, but it's still something where I think they need to improve upon. Maybe a USB where you can charge it and then you can just unplug it and then have it just charged for a while and then you have to recharge it. Something like that would be more like effective. But having just and like Keco was saying, having to deal with that in your displays, you got to find a hole to put the wire through. Like it's going to be a mess when you have to deal with the future figures with all these USBs. Like, how are you going to deal with all these wires at one point? It's going to be a little a little too much, a little overkill. So I think it's something that is better. It's in the step in the right direction, especially with this Vader, but it needs to be improved upon. And like I said, especially with the lightsabers, I think the lightsabers are like, it's honestly like kind of embarrassing to me. I do not like the light ups that Hot Toys use on the sabers.
They are
like,
ass for
yeah,
sure.
they're awful. The light, I mean, even the sabers themselves, the way they're just like translucent, they don't look like that dark red paint. It doesn't look that good. I think they really need to improve upon those. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
I'm with you though, Riley. I do think, and in Keco, I do think say you get to the Hot Toys to the level of CCFL, right? Which they know they're probably capable of. It's probably just cost them too much to do that. But if they get to that point and start including that in all these Jedi and Sith figures, dude, imagine the heights that takes the figure to. And imagine if one day they somehow find a way to do it wirelessly. Like somehow to find a way. That's the key. I don't know if the technology exists because the lightsabers are so small and any battery you would get in there would be super tiny by nature. But, you know, the wire hanging out is not ideal, but it still gives the saber a nice look to it. But these are not on the CCFL level, right? And that's
like I said, it's like this is like the first iteration of the iPhone. There's so much coming in the future, but this is just the first stage.
Exactly. But I do like Keco. Darth Vader, it really does add a lot to his character if you can light up the belt and the chest piece. I mean, that is a really nice thing. So Keco, I have that battery pack still, I think, from the Infinity Gauntlet. I'm not even using it right now for that. So I'm gonna try it out. I think I just need like a USB to USB-C converter. I need to see what the cable is on Vader, and then I need to find, or maybe I'll ask Joey or Justin or something, and see like what the cable looks like, and then I can get an idea. And I'm gonna try it. If I get it to work, I'll do it in the review and I'll post it. But rechargeable AAA batteries for that's what I use. You know, they work great. So. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. The Darth Vader is, I can't wait. I'm getting it Wednesday. I know a lot of you guys already have that figure in hand. So I'm super excited.
Turned out better than I thought it was going to. I thought we were going to go down that rabbit hole again, having to defend the definitive Vader. So thank you all for changing.
I did run a poll though. And
I saw that. Don't worry.
Did you see the DX Vader like ran away with it?
Fine. People can be wrong. That's fine. There's a lot of people that aren't watching Bad Batch and they're wrong. So that's fine.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But all right, guys. Well, Carlos has led this whole poll charge, and now we got a poll running. And Toby Spider-Man issues is what people want to talk about. That's apparently the winner right now. Yeah. And we got some close ones, but we're going to go with the Toby Spider-Man because we're going to give the people what they want. So thank you, Carlos, for the idea. So the way I wanted to, Nick messaged me. I think I posted a story or something about the stream, and Nick was like, "You're talking about Toby Spider-Man again?" I was like, "Of course, bro," because. And Riley, you know this better than anyone. The reason I'm bringing this back up is because a lot of people have been starting to receive theirs from Sideshow, and it was shipped. And you know, I peruse the Hot Toys subreddit like daily, multiple times a day. I see different things people post and stuff like that. So I've been seeing the subreddit being flooded with at least several, like 4 or 5 Toby Maguire Spider-Man posts of people getting the original first batch Toby Maguire Spider-Man, but prior to the fixing of the mask and the stitching. And you can see the stitching on this collector's head here, on the Spider-Man's head here, and the mask being a little bit too high compared to the remaster, the 2.0 that came out later. And a lot of people I also want to point out were messaging Sideshow, and Sideshow apparently was denying requests, saying that these are sort of just general issues with the figure, like saying like, the discrepancies that are within acceptable terms, essentially. So they were denying collectors the ability to exchange. I'm pretty confident that they're allowing collectors to return if they want to return the figure and get a refund, but you're not going to be able to get another one just because it's sold out, right? And Hot Toys or Sideshow is not able to unbox every single one and know which one is which batch and so forth. So you just rolling the dice. I've never seen this before, Riley, but you're rolling the dice buying this Toby figure, whether you're going to get the first batch or the second batch grouping. So Riley, I have to ask you, should collectors be accepting of these defective units? Should they maybe just work on the fixes themselves besides the stitching? You can't fix that shit, right? But this is different territory because, the Tony Stank Hot Toys just fixed everything. They gave a second batch and Sideshow said, okay, like, we'll get the replacements and blah, blah, blah. But this one, they're just like, sorry, like you get what you get or you can return it. So Riley, what are your overall thoughts on this whole thing?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting one. Honestly, I feel like should collectors accept defective units? I am on the other side. I don't think so. I think that Sideshow's basically saying that there's really nothing they can do, I think is BS in my eyes. I really do think that most people who got this figure should have the best possible version. The fact that you just have to deal or just have to live with the mediocre version or the first batch version is kind of ridiculous in my eyes. I really do think that there could be some way, or they can get a word from Hot Toys and say like, oh, could you send us maybe more of the new one, of the improved version? Because Hot Toys knew when they did the first batch that they heard it from the community that they fucked up, they messed up bad, because the whole community, when they had the wrong eye lenses and the wrong spots, it was becoming a big thing, and they were quick to get these new second batch ones with the fixed ones. So I think I just wouldn't accept that from Sideshow. I think that's pretty lame. I don't know if it's out of their hands though. Maybe it just is, because I know Sideshow, when it comes to customer service, we talk about it, they're top notch. They're the best of the best. So maybe it's just something where it's out of their control. There's just nothing they can do. But I'm pretty disappointed, honestly, because obviously, like I said, I did an ISO for like you said, for the Tobey, because I want to make sure the one I get has the correct eye lenses in the right spots. And I don't want to take that gamble with Sideshow and saying like, oh, if you get it, you get it. If you don't get the correct one, then there's nothing you can do. So I would hope that there would be something they can do. Yeah, like I said, contacting Hot Toys or something, but I don't think you should accept the defective unit, because you don't have the best version of what you paid for, honestly. And I just don't accept that, honestly. I really think that they should do something about it, rather than just being like, oh yeah, you can return it, but there's really nothing we can do. I don't know. I think that it's kind of lame, because, and another thing is, I feel like this shouldn't have even been an issue to begin with, because given it's Toby Maguire Spider-Man, like I don't understand it personally, because like there's figures like Black Adam and other characters who are like not many, the majority of people care about, that are getting like 10 out of 10 figures. Like there's really not that many issues, and this Tobey here has just had so many flaws and controversies where it's just kind of ridiculous in my eyes. So at the end of the day, I think that it's pretty lame that you can't get the certain version of the updated version, and I wouldn't stand that. I'd probably return it and just figure out a way, because I just wouldn't be able to just live with having that not the best one. Because in my eyes, you're paying that high price where I'm just like, I'll always look at the mask and just be like, oh, there's a better one out there, and I think that's just the way I see it personally.
Yeah. And I mean, a collector did post this message from Sideshow. So sorry, guys, if it's a little bit small, I can read it for us. But apparently, this is what the collector posted from Sideshow rep, who emailed them back. Thank you for providing images of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man figure and for your patience. So after carefully considering your request, they said it appears that the eyes of the Spider-Man mask you've highlighted falls within the expected range of variation for these handcrafted, hand-painted collectibles. As such, we believe that a replacement would not offer a significant improvement due to the inherent uniqueness of each piece. So I mean, look, that's their stance, and it's totally reasonable to be within that interpretation there. But, you know, it is disappointing for collectors, because a lot of people were posting this saying that they waited such a long time to get this Spider-Man only to be let down. And again, this is not necessarily Sideshow's fault. They didn't make these figures. Right. They're just distributing them. Right. So let's be clear about that. But it is a little disappointing for the Tobey stands out there that, you know, really were excited for this figure. And it ended up being just not what we hoped it would be, because Hot Toys has been on fire lately. The stuff they've been putting out has been absolute fucking fire. But besides Gorr. But other than that, the rest of the stuff has been really great. But this Tobey was almost like right before they hit their stride.
Right.
Like it's like right before they started like delivering bangers. And
yeah, I think they just rushed it a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah, like the seam thing, I'm not sure, Riley. The neck seam to me is a problem, but the stitching on the top of the head, that just looks ugly, bro. Like that just, I thought we were past that. Yeah, like I thought but Keco, I gotta let you weigh in, bro. I know last time you had a very interesting take on this one. What are your thoughts on these defective units that collectors are a little bit upset about?
This is so complicated, and it's so tired at this point, unfortunately, because I feel like we've talked about this topic for the past 10 years at this point.
J&D in this.
But for someone that, when you have a favorite character and you want them represented in figure form and it falls short, that hurts. I get that. I would be upset if my Mommy Wanda wasn't the way it wanted to be. I get it. I really, really do. But Sideshow is not the villain here. I want to say that Sideshow is not the villain. They're not in control of production. They are working with what they have. So if you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at the company that produced it, that being Hot Toys. I feel like people have been pretty vocal about that. There's two things that I think about this when it comes to this figure alone. And I'm just speculating, all speculation, asterisk. So is it possible that they wanted Hot Toys? They were banking on people saying, we'll half-ass this mask a little bit because everyone wants the Tobey head anyway, and they were hoping that everyone would just display the actual head sculpt. Maybe because that's the way I display it is with the Tobey head sculpt. That's because if you have a head sculpt, in my opinion, that looks that good, and when you have all three of them together, you say, wow, look at these three Spider-Men. That's the way I want to display it. And so maybe they were banking on that. But then there are going to be variations at the factory and things like I get it. I really, really do. And we've talked about this so many times. I think some people have been way too picky. But I also wonder, is it a vocal minority of the people that are saying, it's Spooderman, I hate this, fuck this, I'm never going to do anything with this company again, I'm going to cancel? If what we can garner from Reddit is true, if we, with everyone saying I'm canceling and returning, this is going to be the ultimate grail of grails because there's only going to be like 5 in circulation because no one's going to have one because everyone's so mad they're returning them. So I'm not saying settle for mediocrity, and I'm not saying accept defective things. There's 2 options here. You keep it and you roll with it because what else are you going to do? You're not getting another one. There's not going to be another company that produces a better one, let's be honest. And then if you do want to keep it, Monkey Depot, eBay, find the head sculpt that works for you, customize it, find one, and everything else is good. Find the right head sculpt then. Parts out. Is it going to be a pain in the ass and you shouldn't have to be doing it? You're going to end up spending more money? Yes, you will. I hate that. I really do. But for the people that are as passionate about having a representation of the Tobey Spider-Man, the Raimi Spider-Man in their collection, you got to have to do what you got to do. All the people that said, look at the Batman figure. I've made all these modifications to this Hot Toys one, and it looks so much better now. They're putting a lot of money into this figure that is widely perceived as being incredible already, and they're making it better. All right, collectors, do what you do. If they're doing that for the Batman, do the same thing for this Spider-Man. And I know it's different. And shout out to Nick and Riley for doing like the sculpted version of the mask and things like that. Trying something to make this figure better. That's a good option. But you're not going to get another one of these. And yes, everyone in the chat or Nick, let's fix black suit Toby and maybe we'll be vindicated at this point. Fix black suit Toby, maybe.
Let's do it.
But this is what you got. If you want a red suit, Raimi, Toby Maguire Spider-Man, this is what you're getting. So do you want it or not? Send it back if you don't. Don't keep something you don't want, for sure. But don't sit there and be pissed that you don't have anything at that point and then start saying, wow, I wish I would have kept it. Part it out. Find one. Maybe pay a little bit extra. That's my suggestion for you if you can't live with it. And my last thing about this is I don't think all of them are going to be as bad as they're making it out because Sideshow started shipping these out, okay? And there is a trend that I think we have seen is that if you get a Sideshow exclusive special edition, those are the ones that ship out first. Going back to Vader, those are the ones that shipped out first. These, the ones that most people are getting, there's the standard version and they're the special edition Sideshow exclusive ones. If I'm Hot Toys and they're saying, hey, recall these, you're not taking the small ones. The standard version and the special edition ones are the smaller batches. The deluxe main one is what people are putting all the efforts into. I think if you have a deluxe, standard, whatever you want to call that, I think you might get your 2.0 head. But these fringe exclusive ones, I think they're still the 1.0, honestly, because Hot Toys said, I'm not going to mess with this because there's too few. I'm not going to mess with this one because they're too few. And I just think you just got the wrong luck of the draw on that. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, and that's fair. And Nick sent me this photo, by the way, and he did describe essentially that the left one is the second batch and the right is the first batch. So, you can see, with the right one, the web's middle is right there a little bit lower. And
this
the
is
left
that
one's
Pam picture when it's like, find the difference between these two pictures.
Right.
They're the same picture.
Dude, you could see it. You could see it.
Riley can point out
Maybe I'm a fake fan, but
well,
I can't
I
tell.
think, it's just like you said, the right one, it's the webs are sitting lower. And on top of that, the mask is sitting lower. It's making the seam sit lower, so it looks even more noticeable, that top seam. I don't know if you can tell, because the left one, the seam is more to this to the top of his head.
Yeah.
But on the right
do you
one,
see how Sideshow would look at this complaint and say, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah, they
about?
probably
That's
see
fair.
it. They
That's
probably
fair,
see it as
yeah.
bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair, but
Yeah,
I get
And
it.
I hate that for you, though. I do. I really, really do.
Right.
Yeah, and I do feel that for the Spider-Man fans out there. I mean, I do understand. Yeah, I mean, this is a really important character, to a lot of people, and I'm surprised that Hot Toys fucked it up. This is not Sideshow's fault. Like, they're doing the best they can with it, and to them, like, their customer service is bar none the best. I mean, we all know that. I mean, it just is. So regardless, I mean, there's a lot of great companies out there, but Sideshow's customer service is something to be modeled after, no doubt about it. I mean, there's been times here and there where I didn't get everything I wanted with them, but in general, they've been really helpful. So I can't complain about that. So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to move on to our next topic. I'm just following the poll results, and we're going to follow that because this was Carter's idea. Oh, I think we had a super chat, actually. Give me 1 sec. I'll bring that up. GWC, thank you so much for a $1.99. Appreciate you, bro. He said the unmasked head sculpt is so good, so I'm cool with it. So I think he's onto something there, Keco. I mean, a lot of people really
Will
like
is
that.
one of the only people that don't like that.
Yeah, I hate that head sculpt. I hate it. But
Dude,
I will
don't
say
get that either. I think
that a lot of people love it.
You are
Keco, when
fake
I
news,
see yours
bro.
in person, maybe I'll change my mind. But I'll come to Tennessee just to see that. I
great,
want to see
man.
Blue Bale, man. I want to see Gorr, and I want to see the Tobey head sculpt. Those are the things. Then I'll fly back. Then that'll be it.
Yeah,
But
and then you'll be like, in search of.
yeah, right. In
so-
search of Toby's second batch, like Riley did. So
Yeah.
UWC, thanks so much, bro. Appreciate you. And guys, if you have a second batch Toby, hook my boy Riley reviews up. He needs one. So
I need one.
Riley, do you have first batch right now? You're looking for second? Is that what it is?
No, I don't even have the first batch one. I'm a fake Toby fan. I only have the OG, like the one made in 2010 or 2012. I still
That's
have
a real
that.
collector right there.
Yeah, there we
Dude,
go. I
fake
go
collector
back
right
that
there.
bad. No,
Yeah.
but I'm still looking for it. But I think I'm gonna end up getting one very soon. So
Nice.
can't wait, man.
Nice.
What is
That's
wild to me that I didn't notice about and that people are talking about is that the Sandman base is literally made of sand, and people are really upset
Yes.
that they're making like sand
like-
pieces in their
It's
display.
like falling in their display.
Just imagine glitter but sand, and Anakin would be
crazy.
pissed, is all I can say.
Yeah, Anakin would not be
Very
happy
true.
about that.
It gets everywhere.
I hate sand. But yeah, guys, so let's move on to our next topic based on the poll results. People want to talk about the Mandalorian Super Commando. And my question was, is this for diehard fans only? Because I don't even know what the fuck it is. I'm going to be real. Like, I looked at this and I said, you know what? It looks like Darth Maul. And I'm assuming there's something going on there. So someone's going to have to fill me in on this one. Again, I'm never going to try to talk about something that in which I am ignorant of. But I will say I did watch Ahsoka, and I did really like that show. I thought it was great. Keco and I were texting during that show, and I said, Keco, after the first 3 episodes, I was like, man, I'm getting pretty nervous about this thing. And then episode 4 came. And then Keco said, let Dave cook. And I was like, all right, I'm going to let Dave cook. And then he started cooking. Some people didn't like the cooking that he did, but I thought he was cooking with gas by the end. I thought it was a pretty good show. And Thrawn was awesome, bro. I love Thrawn. I thought he was great. Can't wait to get that figure. Nonetheless, we have a cool-ass Darth Maul Mandalorian Super Commando figure. And I think people seem pretty excited about this one. Keco, I got to ask you the question. Is this for general Star Wars fans just because it looks really cool? Or is this one that a lot of Star Wars fans are going to be like, no, this is fucking essential? What are your thoughts on this?
Boy, Will, there's so many things that you tell me that I'm just shake my head at. And it's time to go to Cannon Camp, okay? We got to go to Cannon Camp.
Dude, let's take it to Cannon Camp.
So when the Clone Wars were created, the TV show, it was a way to amplify the prequels and give us Star Wars content. And ultimately, there was a lot of backlash from the prequels, but the Clone Wars made the prequels what they're beloved at this point because of the Clone Wars. They did a few seasons. Obviously, they were widely popular. They created the Ahsoka character and all that. Disney buys Star Wars and they say, okay, we're going to finish the Clone Wars because we haven't finished that story. And they said, we're going to do the Siege of Mandalore, because that was one of the concept drawings that people have seen. And like, they even done like some pre-animations for that. And people were obsessed because in the Clone Wars, Darth Maul goes to Mandalore, defeats the Vizsla, takes the Darksaber, and becomes the ruler of Mandalore, who then he creates these troopers, the Mandalorians, essentially, because they are his loyalists at that point. Fast forward to season 7 of the Clone Wars and the Ahsoka series, where you see her in her blue outfit that you get, and when she's with Anakin, that's where it ties all together here, is that they take the Siege of Mandalore, and there's obviously the 332nd Troopers, the actual clone army, Ahsoka troopers, and then the actual, Bo-Katan and all of her people. Death Watch take on Maul and these super commandos in one big battle. It's the Siege of Mandalore, blah, 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 blah. And we get to see that in live action. So one of the famous characters from that is Gar Saxon. And he's got like a real cool, like almost like an Oakley shade. You know, it's not like a black T-visor, but it's like a red and orange, like Oakley sunglass looking. It's really sick, by the way. But and everyone really liked that character. And this is really, really close to this. And if you are a Clone Wars fan, this has nothing to do with Ahsoka. It's from Ahsoka. But if you're a Clone Wars fan, I think you have to have this because it's so pivotal to the story. This is more than just like your bullshit Coruscant Guard and
Mustard Trooper.
This actually has a point to it, is that when they are taking actual Mandalorian soldiers, converting them to, you know, Maul loyalists, it's fucking cool. And you even see a version of it when Gideon shows up in Mandalorian season 3 with the helmet horns, which is kind of cool. So is it for the diehards? Probably. Does it look cool? Absolutely. But it just shows once again, the Ahsoka line is fire. That's all I can say.
The Ahsoka line is really good so far, and I still am convinced.
Where is Shin and Balin? That's my question.
100%. We need those. I'm still convinced, Keco, that they are going to make an Anakin Skywalker from the Ahsoka line. I'm convinced, bro. I can't
like
believe
actual Anakin or a Clone Wars Anakin, because we've seen the tease. Or
well, yeah, there's Clone Wars. I think it's going to be like an Anakin from the world in between worlds or whatever. I think it could be that, like with Dark Side, head sculpt or whatever. Like, I still. Maybe they're just waiting because they're saying in 2 years, Revenge of the Sith, we're going to make this fucking bomb-ass Anakin and everyone's going to lose their shit for it. Maybe they're waiting for that and they're just saying like, oh, let's not make an Anakin now. That'll kind of defeat the purpose of the other one. So maybe that, but yeah, I don't know. But Riley, what do you think, bro? Is this Mandalorian Super Commando a must-have for you? Because I mean, it's pretty cool. And Keco did a good job explaining the lore there.
He did. I'm very proud of Keco. He had to acknowledge you.
Me too. I'm always proud of him.
Come on, Will. But yeah, this is a really cool piece. I think for me, it's gonna be one of those ones where I don't need it. It's cool for sure, but it's not one of the ones that I need. But like you said, I think this does pertain more to the diehard fans out there. And there's also some people who just like collecting cool looking things. And I think this definitely has that presence to it where you're like, damn, like I just like the aesthetic of it and I want to pick it up. But it's not gonna be for me. It is a cool like storyline though. I you know me, I'm a huge Clone Wars fan and I do understand the lore with it, but it's not one of those ones where I need to get it on the shelf per se, but it's just, yeah, it's not a priority in my eyes, but it's not to say it's a bad figure by any means. It's going to look really cool with all your troopers you have lined up. I mean, Hot Toys have been kind of insane. They slowed down a little on the Clone Wars, I feel like. Because there was a time when they were going like every week, like dropping Clone Wars stuff, and there was a lot of troopers coming out. They kind of like took a little lull, but right now it seems that, I mean, maybe they're going to start ramping it up, but overall, not for me, but it's a cool looking piece for sure.
Yeah.
I'll also say is that this is going to possibly be custom fodder because Obi-Wan Kenobi wears this outfit and goes undercover. Yeah. So some people may be throwing the Kenobi sculpt on here, especially with the General Kenobi. You can put the Clone Wars helmet on him, put the Kenobi sculpt on this. You got 2 new figures.
That would be really cool, bro. That'd be really cool. So guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below about this Mandalorian Super Commando. I think it's a really cool looking figure. It's not going to be for me, but I think it is for a lot of people. A lot of Star Wars fans that are big into Clone Wars, like Keco said. That's why I was confused, Keco, because I was like, I don't remember seeing this dude in Ahsoka. And that's why
she does. She like actually like hits him with a lightsaber. It's like for a split second.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay,
right before she talks to Anakin, you see her come in. She attacks this guy, and then
okay, so that's how they kind of found a little loophole there. Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I don't really remember that part of it. Like, because I guess I was so like, where's Thrawn? When's Thrawn going to show up? And then it was more like, oh, Anakin's here. That's fucking cool. And I didn't even think about the Darth Maul troopers. I wasn't really thinking about that. So, but yeah, I think that's really cool. And congrats to all those people that want to pick one of those up. Guys, I know for sure that our viewer numbers are about to drop because this has been announced by Sideshow. It has not been put up for pre-order officially, but this has to be discussed. A lot of people assume that I'm just the 5 people just literally just left the stream because like literally the second I put the photo up. So, and I knew this was going to happen, but this is not going to be for everyone. But I do think Sideshow deserves some praise here for what they're doing. they're going after some unique, beloved IPs and characters here that other companies simply aren't making. So I do think Sideshow deserves some respect and some praise here. But the way I kind of want to approach this question is, this is a figure we don't know the price of yet. We do know it's going to have 2 head sculpts, which I'll show, the other one with the teeth. And honestly, man, this looks really fucking good. This looks like, if you love Pennywise and Tim Curry from the 1990 version, this is your chance to get him in 1/6 scale. It's probably not happening again anytime soon. NECA has made the figure in, like, what is it, 12th scale, and other companies have made him, but not to this level, right? We don't know the price. Again, this is probably going to be somewhere around $270, $275 if I had to speculate, somewhere around there.
Bro,
But
this one's going to be $350.
You think so?
With 2 head sculpts, absolutely. If Clint Eastwood is like $300, it's going to be $350, bro.
Well, the Beetlejuice was 1 head sculpt, right? What was that, like $275? So, okay, well, it's Sideshow pricing, so you may be right, because Sideshow tends to overprice a little bit. But this teeth head sculpt looks really good too. This looks good. The hair looks good. Hopefully it comes out this way. We also have some hesitation about Sideshow's 1/6 figure bodies. You know, we've seen some. I haven't owned one, but I had C-3PO and he was fine. But other figures, I've seen some conflicting reports there and some concerning things. But is it time, Keco, to take Sideshow seriously in 1/6? Because the last 2 figures that they've announced, as far as prototypes are concerned, the Beetlejuice and this Pennywise Tim Curry, they both look pretty fucking fire, dude. So is it time, Keco, that Sideshow is elevating themselves? What are your thoughts? What are you predicting here?
Bro, this is InArt 2.0. Until they release some shit, I can't say anything because we don't know. Apparently, I think I told you this, Will, they are loving this rooted, flocked hair type of thing because both Beetlejuice and it have these crazy poofy hairs, which is crazy. But sadly, we're at the point, Will, like where our audience, I sometimes feel like, have no idea who this even is. They think it's probably Bozo the Clown because they're too young to know. Riley, do you know who this is?
Nah, it looks like just Bozo the Clown, like he's
Riley, you know who the fuck this is.
I will say, this is do people rent like movies anymore? Like, there's no actual VHSs anymore, right?
You can go to Redbox, can't you? Like at Walmart and stuff. Do you still
so this is one of these girls I was dating or whatever. If you're looking for a makeout movie, the 2-pack of VHS I mean, you got 4 hours right there just to fucking make out.
Oh, shit.
So I'll never forget like going and getting it to watch and make out to because it's long. It's awesome. But well, that's how.
Honestly, bro, I got laid to it once. So
let's go.
Like, I mean, it wasn't this it though. It was the good one with the Pennywise back there. So let me just tell you. I mean, Keco is onto something here. I mean, it's
I gotta write this
probably
down.
Probably TMI.
It is true.
Riley, write this down if you want to lose that virginity.
I'm writing.
From my makeout session, we obviously fooled around into other things as well. So Pennywise leads to pussy. Let's just be honest.
He does, bro. He does. I'm telling y'all. Turn on it, and you'll get what you want.
There you go. And then she'll be like, "Oh, that's it."
Oh, that was pretty good.
Oh, we got the applause on that one.
But we've derailed.
We've derailed completely.
This is InArt 2.0. Does it look cool? Yes, it's a fucking prototype. But my 2 things is I want to see it in person, and the production version, obviously. And the price point, I think, is really going to scare people because they do not have a very good track record with the bodies. I have Sideshow pieces, brothers, and I'm like, oh shit, I really need to replace these bodies. I mean, they're ass.
Really?
And so one of my favorite like photographers, Jason B. Michael, messaged me, and he's like, hey, I'm looking at one of these Clint Eastwoods. What do you think? Do you own this one? I'm like, no, I don't actually. And I'm just going to give you a heads up, hesitantly. I'm very cautious about anything from Sideshow because it's so overpriced. And by the time you get them, you're like, oh, fuck, I paid $300 for this. So that's my thing, man. Prove it to me is all I'm saying.
Yeah, the comments are wild out right now, dude. I'm telling you, Riley, though, I'm telling you, Keco confirmed it. There's 2 people, 2 out of 3 here. I can tell you. Like, I think I had a couple different girls come over at different points, and they were like, they know how much I love Pennywise because they've seen the collection. They're like, do you want to watch it? And then, dude, I had to learn this, I guess, the hard way. No pun intended. Like, you had to learn the hard way, essentially.
They don't want to watch the movie.
They don't. Yeah. Keco's exactly knew where I was going. Like, they don't want to watch anything. They came over to your house for a reason. And when a girl comes over to your house, generally speaking, Riley, you know what's about to go down. So I didn't know that beforehand. I was inexperienced.
I went to a bar one time and this bullshit girl or this girl started bullshitting me saying that she loved Rogue One and wanted to watch it. And I literally thought she wanted to watch Rogue One.
Exactly, dude.
And so I brought her over. I threw in Rogue One and she's getting mad that I'm not giving her the attention when Jen Erso's sticking away with the Death Star. I was like, don't you understand? This girl's about to change the galaxy.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Keco's sitting here explaining.
Sure that's what you're concerned about? I'm like, yes.
Keco's just explaining the lore.
Keco's like explaining the plot of Rogue One. He's like, all right, so these are the rebels, and like, and she's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, that's Riley. That's how it goes, dude. Women, because they'll say, okay, let's watch it, because they're not actually going to watch it. They're going to watch you. So like that's
they're going to watch it. All right.
Yeah, they're definitely. It's funny. We all float down here.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We're kind of saying we all fuck down here too. Chad is wild out right now. Chad is wild now.
Hey, you, Georgie.
That was pretty good. That's pretty good.
So Sideshow's probably like this. There's no feedback on this figure in this live.
Yeah, exactly. This is what it segued to.
I know. But Riley, Keco said this is NR 2.0.
Yeah.
God damn it, Randall. Stop. Like, so Riley, you getting me, Randall's getting me distracted with his comments. So Riley, is this a figure that that you would consider picking up at any point? Because it could lead to some ladies for you.
Yeah, maybe I should, and then we'll just watch it, and it'll turn out well. But anyways, I definitely it's not for me. It's not what I need. Like you said, I've heard of I actually never seen this iteration. I haven't seen this movie. Like you said, this is Bozo the Clown to me, like Keco said, I guess. But it definitely looks good. Like I would honestly, if this said like in art on the bottom left, I wouldn't think that this is false. I think this literally looks that good. It looks amazing. Like the prototype looks that
another
good.
thing that's never coming to you, so it seems about right.
Exactly.
2028.
It's a pretty good one. But the only Sideshow figure that I owned was unfortunately the General Grievous, which Grievous is like my hidden like favorite character in Star Wars. I love Grievous. And yeah, that one was it wasn't too perfect. You were able to move the arms like a helicopter and all those other issues. But
helicopter.
That was
like
a crazy
Pablo,
one.
dude.
Yeah, exactly. So Sideshow doesn't have the best rep with figures, but I have heard though their horror figures, like for the most part, they hit. And like we're seeing right here, it looks like they put a lot of care and effort into it. And yeah, I just think the prototype looks like I mean, yeah, that might be like someone will probably clip this when it actually releases, but it looks like an in-art prototype. Like it looks
that's what I said, dude. It does.
I think it looks amazing. But it's not for me. But I mean, if people are into it, go for it, man. This looks like an amazing proto. Hopefully, like you said though, because Keco said the bodies are a little hit or miss. Hopefully, this one turns out to be a hit because it looks great.
I will say though, for all the people that said my Pennywises were creepy, this one's way fucking creepier, bro. Like, and I've said that all along, Keco. Like
those shower scenes in this are wild,
dude. I mean, yeah, it's pretty wild, bro. It's pretty wild.
For those that actually do watch the movie, I mean, it's so fucking long, but there's some really fucking weird stuff in it.
Bro, honestly, but if you watch this with a girl, maybe you can get her in the shower because I mean,
wow,
dude,
Riley,
Stephen King did us all a favor.
Stephen King was looking out for the bros, 100%, bro. 100%.
It's a wild combo.
Dude, it's true. Riley, it's true. I mean, guys who watch they fuck. So, it's just, yeah, I mean, let's just be real about it. Like, I'm just going to tell you guys, like, watch it.
Same people watch Clone Wars. That's why I got a Clone Wars jacket.
Exactly. That's unconfirmed, Riley. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see it. Keco, does Clone Wars get the woman? I'm not so sure that it does, but
Keco knows. Come on.
Honestly, for me,
Amy's rolled over at this point by the time I put Clone Wars on. And it's the fall asleep show for her.
Exactly. So, yeah. So it's pretty wild. But I will say the Pennywise thing has always worked in my favor because it's a conversation starter. Like, they'll be like, why? I mean, the problem is, though, if I get this Pennywise too, and I'm going to have some explaining to do, because then at that point, I have 2 6-scale Pennywises, I have a half-scale Pennywise, and I'll have a Tim Curry. Keco knows I have a Pennywise lamp in my room. Like,
which is pretty sweet though.
It is pretty cool. At that point, though, I'm gonna have some serious explaining to do because I'm gonna have a Pennywise shrine at that point. So I need to be careful with that. So yeah. So anyway, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below on that one. Yeah, we got some seriously that was a crazy conversation. I can't believe we went to that point, but that's where we went. So that's what you need, guys. Just
this is why we do polls. Do we talk about what you want to talk about?
It's true. The people knew what they were getting into. The people absolutely knew what they were getting into.
And for those 5 people that left during that, they missed out on a blessing. Is all.
They're gonna have to watch the replay.
Amazing combo.
Yeah. Riley, just take notes, bro.
taking
Take
this
notes. On
advice.
Like, oh shit, they're talking about sex. Let's get on there.
Let's get back on it. Like that video, that Keco, that wand I sent you today. That person probably watched. But yeah. So guys, we got a time for a couple more topics, I think. I do want to talk about this one though. This was not actually one I put in the poll, but I'm going to bring it up regardless because this first batch thing, right? We talked about this last week, but I wanted to revisit this topic a little bit. We want to do a reissue. We want to do a 2.0 because I think this is worth touching on again. And this is something, if you follow on Instagram, I've been posting recently for certain figures what the first batch prices are. And I use, honestly, what I consider to be the best first batch Hot Toys website, and that's TBA, Toys Buying Agent, right? I think most people consider them the most reliable out of the ones that are typically used, like Toys Wonderland and Pop Collectibles and TBA and stuff like that. So, like I said, I love Kit, but Kit doesn't really do first batch Hot Toys, not his thing. So, there are other ones out there, I'm sure, but I tend to post the TBA prices because they're generally the most reasonable and best customer service overall. Best, but not the best customer service. But as far as Hong Kong resellers, they're pretty good. So, is it even worth considering these days? Because in 2024, it starts to get to the point where it gets kind of wild. And I post these every so often and just kind of look at what the prices are. So this is the wand or deluxe version, right? $31.50 in terms of Hong Kong retail price. So not so bad, $402, right? And that's not even shipping included. So when you start throwing in shipping, you're at around $475 out the door for this Wanda, right? We have to remember, what did this thing retail for, Keco? $315, $330, something like that? Somewhere around there. I can look it up. But so even if Sideshow tax and shipping, maybe you're at $375 tops, you're paying at least probably $100 extra to get this. How much faster nowadays? Like that's for the people that are not in the United States. I sympathize and empathize with you because it's a very different ball game for you. You don't really have the luxury of buying from Comic Concepts or buying from Sideshow or buying from someone like that. You kind of have to go Hong Kong resellers a lot of the time. So I understand that. That's difficult, much more difficult than what we have to experience. But for the North American collectors, our situation is quite different. And Keco, I have to ask you, bro, you knew too what I posted about, and we'll pull that one up, the Darth Vader thing, right? The Darth Vader special edition. And it's actually the regular one is sold out. So 3,730, right? So let's type that into the $476 before shipping for this Vader. Dude, I mean, this thing was barely over $300, plus shipping and tax, $325, $350, whatever. So you're paying a pretty hefty $200 upcharge here. And Sideshow has already shipped them to people. So, and Comic Concepts, when they do get these things, that's, like I said, where I get mine. I'm not trying to shameless plug. I'm just trying to say that's a really good retail option for North American buyers too. They don't get the exclusive special one, but they're shipping out things fast too for the regular Vader, Deluxe, whatever. So is it in 2024, does this type of speed or purchasing even matter, Keco? What are your thoughts?
Looking for my unmute button. Will, I'm pretty sure you just quoted exactly what I just said in my latest video. The lies.
I mean, it was a great video.
The lies that we tell ourselves as collectors, because Will, transparently in that video, I feel like I didn't go scripted. I literally just riffed off the cuff. I had a couple talking points, and I said, here, I'm going to tell you all these lies that I've told myself as a collector, and lies that you all people tell as collectors. And one of them, because I see it all the time, and I use this example. You talked about this Kenobi Vader. People are like, oh, this is the figure of the year. Check it out. And then immediately a comment underneath it. Oh, wow. Where did you get that? Is Sideshow shipping them yet? And then they're like, no, I got it from wherever they got them from. And then like, oh, wow. And they're like, it pretty much worked out to be the same. And let me just tell you, that is a fucking lie. The people that believe that, you are conning yourself and giving copium to yourself and gaslighting yourself, thinking that you're getting a deal. It's like, well, I'm getting it quick. I don't have to deal with bullshit. And then it's in my collection. Trust me, rewind the clock about a year ago. I'm making those claims. Do you remember that, Will? Because
you were saying you don't know how long you're going to be alive.
It literally was me.
Yeah.
And I told you, Will, and I even said in the video, this is not me saying, oh, I'm poor, I'm begging for money. It's not that. It's when I came to the realization that I am wasting. If you have fuck you money, that's different. Okay.
Yeah.
If you have like $350 million, that's fuck you money. You can do whatever you want. Cool, enjoy yourself. But for the average person, you are lying to yourself if you're thinking that it's going to work out. Like, well, I don't have to pay tax on this website, and then the shipping is, I'll do by boat instead of by air. It's going to even out the same, and I'll still get it quicker. It never works out to where it is cheaper or the same. You're always paying a 20% surcharge on top of everything else. It does not make sense at all. And I don't care how you rationalize it. As I told you, if you got fuck you money, enjoy it. Get whatever you want, whenever you want. But for the average person, and I've said there's exceptions to every rule. Maybe you have like 10 figures and you're said, okay, this is the last piece I want to finally get it, so I don't have to be done with. Sure, pay it and be done. That's it. But the problem is when you start doing this over and over and over and over. And that was me. That was me, y'all. I kept getting them over and over and over and over. And I'm like, okay, let me add up real quick how much I've spent for convenience and speed. I'm like, holy fuck! Not exactly great. So is it worth it these days? Because as you said, there's going to be some, like the Batman, like the Tobey Spider-Man, that's going to take a little bit longer to get here.
Yeah.
But then there's others, like Gorr, that is here before Hot Toys even ships them out officially. So it weighs and evens itself out. That's what works itself out to be the same, is that there's going to be some that take longer. There's going to be some that come quicker. But this idea, and as you had hinted on just a minute ago, if you're outside the United States, you don't really have an option. You need to find the best situation for you with duties and taxes. And I don't even understand that. God bless you to figure out what works best for you. But if you are stateside and you are overpaying simply to have it, unless you have fuck you money, stop doing that, because that's an absolute waste of resources.
Yeah. It's understandable.
Thank
And
you for
guys,
that free rant, by the way.
Yeah, no, I love it, dude. And I appreciate the chat weighing in on this one. And CC Thorne had a good point. So he mentioned he got some stuff from TBA below what Sideshow is asking. Sometimes you can get a first batch figure around or lower than what Sideshow is asking. And that point, sure, if you want to do that, by all means, go for it. But most first batch figures, that's not the case. If you're talking about something that's been in stock for a while, absolutely that can occur. But if you're talking about something that just released, unlikely nowadays. But can it happen? Yeah, depends on the figure. If it's more
because they know people are going to pay it and they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, people are buying this Darth Vader for this
price.
They're
not cutting you a deal, and they'll be like, "Oh, if you buy $350, going back to TBA, you spend $350, we'll give you 30%, whatever that their little discount thing is." So.
Yeah, and I'm in no way trying to shit on someone's business model. Like, again, I appreciate what these Hong Kong resellers do. Everyone's got to hustle and eat. I get it, man. It just, to me, like, if we're looking at what is going to be helpful for you nowadays as a collector for longevity's sake, this would not be it. But Riley, I want to ask you, bro, do you still buy first batch? I mean, I have bought some, but I haven't bought anything in a while. Like I said, if the price is right, it can be tempting. And it's not a terrible idea if the price is, by all means, equal. But Riley, where do you land on this one?
Yeah, so way before I actually ordered first batch once, I think it was like when I first started collecting, and it was actually, I might be wrong, but I think it was Thanos Battle Damage, which is a really strange one. But I ended up going first batch because I think I didn't know too much of the hobby at the start. I think he was one of my first couple of figures, and I was like, oh, this just released. I'm off the hype train. I want to get this now, and I just ended up doing it. And honestly, now with all the knowledge I know now, I definitely I regret doing that first batch. First batch for me is not one that I pertain to, and I'm with what most of you guys are saying. I think that nowadays it's just really not the best idea to overpay for these figures, especially with how the market's been. And sometimes even going first batch, I'll explain this, of course, segue into a Toby again, could backfire, because I was tempted myself, who loved Toby, to go first batch, and I was going to, but then I went to TBA and I saw the absolute outrageous prices, and I was like, hell to the no, I can't do that. I was like, I understand going first batch for characters that like you absolutely love, like he is your number one character, and you're fine paying that little price hike, like okay, over like maybe like $100 or $80 more than Sideshow. But TBA, it was like $200 to $300. Like, it was insane. It was an insane price. And then on top of that, if I did do that and paid $200 more, I would have gotten the first batch Toby, which actually had the messed up mask. So it all worked out at the end of the day for me. But I will say there's a lot of price hikes when it comes to even obviously reliable. TBA is the most reliable. They're really good. And even other places like we said, there's risks with the companies themselves. Like I know there's so many posts I see, even on Pop Collectibles, that people are like, where's my shipping invoice? I'm still waiting for it. Is there any update with this or that? It still hasn't, I haven't gotten an email, and it just shows you like, it's not really the best idea to go first batch, because sometimes you don't even get it first batch. They just don't ship the damn thing, even though you paid for a first batch, which is kind of tough. Like I would be, if I was in that situation, I'd be really pissed off, because why did I pay extra? And yeah, and then I saw another, so it's funny. Someone actually talked about, someone just bought a Vader. I think it was like someone posted in the Facebook group. They're like, I bought the Vader first batch because I wanted it. And like literally like a day later, people were getting invoiced on Sideshow that it's coming, it's releasing already, and people are getting shipped. So I just, at the end of the day, I know Sideshow, sometimes it could be longer. It could be 2 months, 3 months, but it's still going to end up on your shelf at the end of the day. And myself, that's the way I look at it. I practice patience in the hobby. I mean, you know me, I've been waiting for the in-art Batman for, it feels like 10 years right now, but I know it's not been that long.
Soon, bro. Soon.
Yeah, it's coming, man, and I can't wait. But yeah, I've practiced just patience. I don't mind waiting anymore. But like I said, for certain characters, I wouldn't mind like paying a little over for a first batch, like a Toby. I debated it because I just absolutely love the character. I'm like, if I lose money on it, it doesn't matter to me because I just love him enough. But other than that, no, it's always going to be through Sideshow, because I just don't want to deal with the shipping scares from Hong Kong, them not even shipping it. Dealing with first batch QC issues. There's just so many outliers that I'm okay. I'm good doing that. I'm out on that. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. And like, it's just a matter of, look, if you run into these type of issues with QC, it's also harder to get replacements. And like, it's just,
yeah, you are fucked if you're thinking you're going to try to, hi, I'm sorry, I'm not liking my Toby mask. Can you please send a new part? They'll be like, who?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes too, it's out of their control, Keco. You've probably seen, like, because with Hot Toys at Secret Base, you have to take the whole figure back within a week, right? So, but they shipped it to you. It probably took more than a week to get to you, more often than not, if not a week. So for you to get it back to them, it'd be virtually impossible. So like, they can't even really get you a replacement. So it's just kind of like, there's so many things that it's just difficult, like it's just difficult. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. Let's talk about something else real quick. We're going to wrap it up here. So we're going to probably roll through this topic relatively quickly, because we're going to try to end things right around 7 o'clock. But this is something I wanted to bring up. And again, this is not, let me be very clear about this one. This is not targeted towards anyone specifically. This is not addressing anyone specifically. This is not meant to call out anyone at all specifically. My question more so falls in line with, I guess, what I've seen in recent times from not just people on YouTube, but just people in the collecting community in general. So the question I really want to ask is, are we a tolerant community in terms of different philosophies in regards to collecting? Because all of us are different. And I think everyone has an equally valid approach in terms of how they want to collect. We can offer opinions and say like, okay, maybe we think this is the best way to collect. Maybe we think this is the most advantageous for your long-term longevity in terms of collecting, right? But and everyone else might do things differently. For example, Keco and I are like best buds, dude. We're like, he's one of my best friends, as he said with me. He was drunk, but I took it at face value when he said that. But yeah, we've become like really good best friends at this point. So Keco has like near 400 figures. I have like 50 figures, right? So we collect very differently. We have very different approaches to collecting, but yeah, we're still really good friends, and we find common ground when necessary. And we sort of like, we each collect in our own ways. So something that I've always wanted to promote on this channel, and Keco and Riley, I want to let you guys weigh in. I know you guys do this too, is sort of being as inclusive as possible, right? The only thing that I've really ever spoken out about and said, okay, maybe I'm not a fan of this, is the sexy collectibles. I'm not a fan of that. That's just my opinion on it. Those people are still very welcome in this community. I'm not going to banish you. I'm not going to say like, don't fucking come here. If you if you like sexy collectibles, by all means do your thing. I just don't like that. I don't like that it does what it does to the collecting community. But by all means, guys, do your thing. I think that if that's what you want to do, I think that's fine. So, and it doesn't really matter what I think at the end of the day. But really what I see a lot of times and hear a lot of times is, the collection size equates to amount of respect, or maybe the person, is not necessarily like, oh, why would you do this? Or why, I see a lot of investment in the way that other people collect. If you're offering advice, that's fine. But I see a lot of like, sometimes, whether it be Reddit or YouTube or Facebook or whatever, there's a lot of stuff that I see that sometimes this community is not as inviting and inclusive as we would like it to be. So Keco, I want to let you weigh in here. Again, I'm not trying to get any of us in trouble here with anyone else. But this is just one that I wanted to address, because I do see this happen this is not a recent thing. This is not anyone recently that I've seen. This has been the case since I started doing this like 6 years ago. And it's something that I've always tried to be like, okay, like we all have our opinions, but I think it's important to kind of like let people do, what they think is best. I mean, offer advice and take the credibility from there. But Keco, I'll shut up now. What are your thoughts on this? I know there's a broad, open-ended question here, but what are just your general thoughts here?
My general thoughts are, Will, is that I'm happy that we don't necessarily connect on the figures that we have. We connect on the life experiences that we have, such as, fucking to the same movies. Which, that's just great.
And Riley will be there soon.
Right. We're willing to make this a trinity at this point. So Riley, get on that. Pop it in and let's have some time.
Oh,
fun time.
Come on, Riley. Let us know, bro. Let us know directly after. We need to.
Yeah.
Wow.
You joined the brotherhood.
The brotherhood of it.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, is that I've never understood and Will, you and I were talking about this before we even got on here. Everyone said, well, if you have more, people think that you know what you're talking about more. And I don't think that means what people think it is. Just because you have accumulated a lot of stuff does not mean you know what you're talking about. Because on the flip side, maybe you're like, well, I don't want a lot of half-assed figures. And yeah, there's pieces in my collection that I'm thinning out because I'm like, boy, that's not a really good piece. But you're looking at yours, Will, and you're like, wow, I don't have any that I'm sitting there shaking my head at. Not yet. And so the way you collect should never be the way that you interact with somebody. And even like when I do some of my YouTube videos, someone even commented a few weeks ago, they're like, I don't want you yelling or talking at me, talk with us. I'm like, well, I'm not. I am talking with us. I'm talking to you, not at you. That's one of the things I always want to say. And when we have these streams, and even when I was given like the advice about like hey, don't overpay for things, I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you, saying, hey, I've done this before. Don't do this. It's simply friendly advice at that point. So if you decide, you say, you know what, I'd rather have this stuff. Cool, enjoy it. I'm not yelling at you for doing so. I don't think Riley's mean or mad or bad or anything because he won't give me the Artisan Anakin. I still love him. But I'm wearing his shirt. I support his beliefs. And it comes down to, we have different opinions on the Batman. And
do we?
It doesn't matter.
We love the Batman.
Yeah,
we love the Batman. We need to be tolerant because that's the world we live in. There's so much more than this. This means nothing. This means everything. As in you guys, the guys I talk to that it's the human behind the collection that I care most about. I don't care what you have. The fact that we say, hey man, I'm watching Bad Batch and you should too. No, I don't think so. I'll watch the sequel trilogy. Okay, we're still watching Star Wars, bros. That's all that matters to me in the end. And that's what it's all about. So collection size, I don't give a fuck what you collect. We can say, hey, did you get that figure? No, I didn't get that one. Okay. Anyway, that's it for me, at least.
Yeah. And I think that's great, dude. And I want to be, again, crystal clear here in that I do not look down or frown upon anyone who chooses to collect more than what I collect. There has never been one time where I have said that or suggested that. I have said essentially that this is the way that I like to collect, the sort of curation strategy of finding, figures that are really meaningful to you and sort of making collecting a part of your life, but not like a mass overwhelming part of your life where you have hundreds and hundreds of figures where it starts to kind of consume you. And I've not gotten to that point, but I've gotten where I was headed that direction. And that's something that I've personally experienced, and everyone is going to be different. So Riley, I want to let you weigh in here, but again, I just want to make that crystal clear that I do not. Oh, the thumb. Nice. I wish I need to get mine like that. Mine never works, but I want to make that crystal clear that I do not like that. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. I don't care if anyone chooses to have hundreds of figures. That is your prerogative. I think that's great. If that's the way you choose to collect, I love it. I think that's great. It's just not how I want to do it. It's not how I advise people to collect, because I can only advise people to collect based on the way I believe it to be true. But yeah, that's been one that, I've found very interesting. But Riley, I want to let you weigh in on this one. What do you think? I mean, what could we do better as a community, you think, to kind of be a little more inclusive and like make sure that everyone has, a valued opinion, even in the chat? Like, I do want to give a shout out to Daniel. Like, we jokingly give Daniel shit, but the fact that he's this invested in the tailoring, which other collectors are simply not. I mean, that's, we got to give Daniel the credit. He played a huge part, it seemingly, in getting that Joker Joaquin with the corrections to the tailoring. So we got to give Daniel some credit on that one. So, and we want to try to be as inclusive for people like that, that have difference in strategy. Sometimes, yes, it can come across a little much to some of us, but some things I do might come across a little bit much to other people. So we want to kind of be cognizant of that. So, Riley, what do you think, bro? What are your general thoughts on this?
Yeah, just reiterating what most of you guys said. there's always going to be passion in this space. There's a lot of people who are passionate, some more passionate, others, and I think that sometimes it does lead to that toxic space where it's not as much fun conversations, and it's unfortunate you have to deal with that. But that's like what people are saying in the chat. That's just something you have to deal with in everyday life. That's just what happens in any space, and especially social media. You have the opportunity to type or chat whatever you want to do. So but the way I look at it is when it comes to that toxic standpoint, I try and just steer away from it, not really give it it's fair share. Because I mean, if you ignore it or you just block it, there's nothing they're gonna do. You're just giving them more power, showing that you care about it, or you're growing attention to that. So that's the way I look at it. And the whole collecting size, this and that, I don't understand that particularly. I even had a combo with Carlos. It was funny. I don't know if it would be an interesting topic to talk about, but yeah, like how people say, like, if you collect more figures, you have more of like, I trust your opinion more, but I kind of disagree with that. I feel like sometimes even if you have like higher collectibles, if you have 100 while someone has 10, that person who has 10 may just have more knowledge on it or just studied it more, etc. I just feel like the whole having more figures, etc., to lesser ones, getting more different credibility, etc., is a little silly in my eyes. I don't really look at it like that, but anyone can look at it the way they want to. But that's just the way I look at it. And overall, I just, like you guys talked about, it's more about the person themselves. People are going to be passionate, like you just said with Daniel. You don't have to agree with him, but he's a passionate guy and he cares about what he's talking about, and he wants to give his opinion on it, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing that I'd want to say like, oh, let's hate on him for that, or let's take his chats away or something. Like, at the end of the day, you can just speak your mind as long as you're being respectful. Of course, if you're going a little past that, then that would be a different conversation. But at the end of the day, you just got to have respect for one another, and people are going to have different interpretations, different opinions. Like we said, the Batman, some people will think it's mid. I think I love it, and I still love Keco, man. He's the best, and like you said, even with Keco's, like Nick said in the chat, Keco has however many more figures than me, and an insane more in comparison to me. But when it comes to Toby, to the master have looked the same. He doesn't give a shit. but to me, I'm like, oh, I got these specific things here. Yeah, like, because I care more about the figure. I studied it and et cetera, et cetera. Not to say that you don't care about it, Keco, but that's just the way people look at it, and we still just got to have that respect and love for one another. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah. And I do want to be, and it doesn't sound like again a broken record, I do want to be crystal clear again. I am not referencing any specific YouTuber, anyone in the community directly. To be honest, I don't watch anyone else's videos besides Keco. Like, I watch Riley's, and like there's a couple like Joey, Ben Thomas. People who I stream with are the people generally whose videos I watch. Like, I don't really watch most other people's. Not that they don't make great content. It's just you only have so much time in a day. Like, I can only watch so much. So I do want to be clear about that. But I am with you, Riley, as we wrap this stream up. And I do want to thank the chat for being so nice. And this is just sort of a general observation topic that I wanted to address. I think I'm with you, Riley, as far as the simplistic nature of bigger collection equals bigger credibility is far too simplistic of an approach, because that's like, there are far too many factors to say bigger the collection equals you're more credible. And I'm not talking about just YouTube. I'm talking about just in general, like people in Facebook comments, Reddit. Well, how many figures do you have? Like, okay, I have X figures. Okay, well, you get to speak first. Like, that's the type of stuff that that's far.
And let me just add to that, is that I don't care what figures you have or how many you have if you don't understand what the lore is behind them. That is my
like me with the trooper.
Yeah, like that is a huge thing for me. And
sure.
God love him, Justin or whatever. Sometimes he'll, because he obviously has more figures than almost anybody. But when he says, I don't really, or he misspeaks about lore, I'm like, oh God, I'm like, oh God, not a real collector. He doesn't know. That means a lot.
And yeah, and that's fair. And see, like Keco, and again, the definition is so subjective. To me, credibility equals the person you vibe with the most and trust. That's it. That's as far as it goes. You know, you could have 500 figures, you could have 50, you could have 5. Like, to me, it's like, do you find the person, not just YouTube, but do you find the person well-spoken? Do you find them, informed? That's it. I mean,
Did they fuck it?
Yeah, did they fuck it? That's it, Riley. Did you fuck it? I mean, that's all you need, bro. Come on, get it done, Riley. We need to have wear the t-shirt by the way, when you do it. But yeah, it's gonna happen.
That is a power move. If you're boning somebody and you're wearing your own merch, I mean, that's pretty sick.
Dude, that is a fucking power move. Riley, get it done, bro. Get it done. Get the job.
Yeah,
done.
they go back and they're like, oh, how was it or whatever? I don't know. All I remember is just having this idea of this. I'm just gravitated. I got to go to this channel. You should check it out with me.
Yeah, Riley, just don't get into any dirty talk. It's gonna be like, she's gonna be like, oh, you like Riley reviews. This is Riley reviews for you. Yeah, don't do that, bro. But watch it though. It'll get the job done. Riley, you're muted, but I'm gonna take that as a yes. I'm gonna take it as a yes. But but anyway, guys, thank you so much for engaging us on this topic. Again, before someone takes this and makes it into something it's not meant to be, it's really, again, not directed towards anyone. That when we joke about the stuff about real collector, fake collector, it's all, there's a thumbs up. It's all a reference into, sometimes in the community there are certain people that will say like, oh, well, you don't have X figures, you're not a real collector, or you don't have X figures, you don't have credibility, and so forth. That's what it's referencing. To me, there's no such thing as a real collector or a fake collector. It's semantics. If you have one figure, to me, that's all it really requires. Beyond that, it's just, everyone has a different definition. That's how I view it, though. So again, it's not meant to do or say anything to anyone else. So yeah, well, I'm sure, guys, I appreciate you for being with us for this stream. Hope you guys have a good rest of your Friday evening. Sorry, we ran 8 minutes over. Keco and Riley, I appreciate you guys as always, and thank you guys so much for the comments and just being supportive and awesome as always. But Keco, I know you just dropped a pretty banger video. And people should go check that out. It was the lies we tell ourselves for Hot Toys collecting. Yeah. Keco, is there anything else? Any other videos you're dropping anytime soon?
No, I'm just happy that we had one that actually was watched after 4 in a row that no one did watch. It's good to have something that someone actually does. So thank you for that. Check me out there. Instagram, Threads, TikTok. You know where to find me. I'm there. Yeah. Well, Keco's the man on every single social media platform. So, and Riley, your dog's here, bro. That's awesome.
Yeah, he is. Can you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. I was having some technical. Yeah, he just hopped on my couch, but yeah.
Nice. So Riley, is there any banger content you're dropping? Because people want to know.
I think recently, right now, I think I'm gonna make a video, I believe, on the Jazz Inc. Batmobile, because I heard there was some conflicting things about the wheel or something, or some QC problems. So I'm gonna make a video just talking about that and seeing how my perspective is on it. Also, I think just, the occasional Spider-Man videos. I think I'm going to do a new one because I did get some couple new ones. I got the Green Goblin. I'm hopefully going to get Tobey soon, so that'll be exciting. And I have the upgraded Goblin, the other Goblin. I have 2 Goblins now, so yeah, it's getting a little wild, but that No Way Home line is finally coming to completion, and it's looking damn good, as much as I critique it. But yeah, some more fun videos, Spider-Man content, shorts, Reels, TikTok, all that stuff. You can find me on Riley Reviews. But yeah, thanks for the invite, man. It was a lot of fun repping the trio Riley Review shirts. Yes. I absolutely love it. I see the chat saying they want some, so I'll let y'all know. I do have the merch, so make sure you check that out. And yeah, man, thanks for the invite. It was a lot of fun today.
Are the shirts in stock, Riley? Can people go pick them up?
They are. It's not waitlisted, so you
nice. No waitlist. Okay, so they don't have to buy Hong Kong first batch. So
nope,
they can.
No first batch needed.
You gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, there you go, guys. You can get your own Riley Review shirt. Hit Riley up for that one. So appreciate you. And appreciate all you guys in the chat. Also, Nicholas is in the chat. I can see Jonathan Blurred Dad Life is here. We got some real OGs in the chat here tonight, which is really great. So thank you guys so much for joining. And I appreciate you as always. Guys, there'll be a video from me dropping in hopefully the next few days. It should be pretty interesting, and I hope you give it a watch. Like I said, Keco said it's been a roller coaster ride. It's been very much an up and down. Depends on the video, depends on the topic, but I appreciate you guys offering the support. Darth Vader will be here Wednesday, so I'm going to start reviewing that bad boy ASAP and get that one out to you guys. And other than that, that's pretty much it. So enjoy the rest of your Friday. I'm gonna go get some ice cream. I think it's kind of cold out, but I'm feeling some ice cream tonight. I need some extra calories, Keco. So I need some extra calories. I'm trying to get on that bulk game. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. See you later. Bye. Hopefully I clicked the right one. Bye.